And we welcome you back here for action at the K1 Circuit in Whiteland. And as we get ourselves here for you to go seeing the action for heat races, and we are ready to go for this. Brad, we are set to go heat racing action this afternoon, and Micro Swift's about to head out on the track.
It's such a good Saturday. It really has. It's been so fun to kind of watch how everything goes here as we get ready to go through micro swifts first, then mini swifts here for the 5 minute plus 2 lap heats. I think this is going to be a fun one to watch here and kind of see through, see how the drivers handle these carts and see how things go.
As we wait for them to be released, which should be hopefully in the next couple of seconds, as our officials are making their way over to the gate to release the drivers out onto the track. And here they come out on the track. And we will give you your starting lineup for today's action in the Micro Swift category. And here it is, James Fox on the pole with Grayson Wyatt, Diesel Maxwell, Bo Laser, and Patrick McNeely. Your 5 karts set to do battle here for the next 5 minutes plus 2 laps. It's going to be a continuation of the James Fox and Grayson Wyatt fight that we saw this morning in the 206 cadet category. James Fox looking to sweep another great race here today, along with Grayson Wyatt looking to see if he can put an end to the racing action that we saw from James Fox here today as they work their way over to the start zone.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they learned from this morning and what they can bring into this afternoon. And also to kind of compound on that, just how different the conditions are this afternoon compared to this morning. This morning it was much cooler, and it seems like since we took the break between the morning and afternoon sessions, things have heated up a lot. Made it very warm. Karts are going to handle different, completely different kart class, of course. You expect that. But then the track is going to handle different. So how quickly have they adapted, and how does this go? Well, we'll find out in about 5 minutes.
We certainly will as they head through towards the start-finish line here, heading into the start box to get set to go racing in the tram line, making sure everyone, hey, slow it down a little bit. Let's get ready to go racing. And green flag is out. We are underway for the next 5 minutes plus 2 laps. And already both Grayson Wyatt and James Fox jockeying for position to take on the race lead. And Wyatt drops back to P2 while James Fox leads the charge here on the opening lap. Through the S's, they'll go over towards the back straightaway as Fox and Wyatt lead ahead of Bo Laser and Diesel Maxwell.
And as they go through here, Diesel Maxwell, you can always find on track because you can look for the mohawk on the helmet, and that is the best way to tell Diesel apart. Going through, down into the hairpin, hard run there from Fox going through, and Laser trying to make a move. Maxwell was trying to take advantage as well. That is one of the dangers of that hairpin turn 13 out of Daytona, but is that if you mess it up, it can royally ruin your race and you fall well back. Across the line they go for the first time. It's Fox, Wyatt, Laser, Maxwell, McNeely, the 5 as they go, with Fox and Wyatt being the ones who have flipped position here. Let's see what happens here because Maxwell's putting pressure on Laser, and for a moment I thought Wyatt was going to drop all the way to 4th there out of the hairpin, but as we go out of the triple apex down onto the back stretch yet again, seems like they're doing pretty well so far.
Yeah, Fox and Wyatt just going to start to see if they can pull away from third on back here and make it a 2-horse race for the race lead in this heat race. As they come out of Daytona towards the hairpin, they'll make their way through, and a little further back you'll see Bo Laser right there leading the charge over Diesel Maxwell, who's trying to find his opening with the Mohawk machine as he tries to find a way up further the running order to improve his spot for the feature race later on today. Across the front straightaway and the start-finish line, and both Grayson and James running very quick lap times around this circuit here as they have a 1.8 second advantage over Bo Laser.
Yeah, that 1.8 second advantage, very, very nice so far. Third, fourth, and fifth, very tightly contested and packed together there. As you can see Maxwell in the background trying to defend from McNeely a little bit. Front 2, Fox and Wyatt, are just going to be opening the gap as they can coming through Daytona. Again, nobody really looking to go high on Daytona and really go way up the banking there. Everyone mostly trying to stay single file through there because they want to set up for the hairpin and getting that 180-degree left-hander to have the most speed and kind of set up the best potential for where they can here. 2.5 minutes left to go in this heat race as they cross the line. Gap now opened up to nearly 3 seconds from the top two back. So they have absolutely left third, fourth, and fifth for company. And they have decided, you know what, we'll open up a gap and then they'll get things going here as they continue along down the backstretch. They go yet again as they come through, and you can see they're just settling in right now.
Grayson Wyatt setting fastest lap of the race so far as we drop back to P3 with Laser, Maxwell, and McNeely as they come out of the bus stop up onto the banking of Daytona into the hairpin. Maxwell is right there as, trouble for Laser. He'll go wide, and that opens the door for Maxwell to take the third spot away. McNeely tried to follow, but Laser shuts the door on him as quickly as possible. So a tough break for McNeely in the Tony Kart. Could not move up a spot just yet as a minute 40 plus 2 laps to go for these three competitors. But Diesel Maxwell now has a little bit of breathing room to try to see what he can do to catch up to the top two.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see what Diesel Maxwell can do here because that gap is 5 seconds here with a minute and a half plus 2 laps to go. So that is a hard gap to close up going through and just looking at the lap by lap pace. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be possible because James Fox and Grayson Wyatt have been on a league of their own. I think Diesel Maxwell is the fastest of the three behind. And that's off for Laser. Laser with a big off there through the hairpin, and then McNeely going off as well, coming out through, carrying a lot of pace through the hairpin. I think just a little bit too much. And then McNeely kind of sympathy going off, trying to avoid Laser, who is rejoining on the track.
Yeah, tough break for both of them as they lose pace to both Diesel Maxwell and your top three. As there you see the gap between the top two, and there's Diesel Maxwell somewhere in the mix as he'll catch the tail end off camera as they now approach the back straightaway. James Fox continuing to pick up where he left off this morning, leading the charge in the Micro Swift division. Really good fight, though, between these two in their feature race in the cadet category with the 206 engine, as we saw them swapping back and forth a little bit, trading positions, sometimes working together to pull away. And now here in the micro category, it seems to be the exact same situation that we will see possibly. The only thing is Grayson Wyatt trying to take care of his equipment to be ready to take the fight to James Fox this afternoon.
I definitely wouldn't be blaming him if he is, because remember, again, that final is 10 minutes plus 2 laps, so it's double this race distance. So when you go through that point, you got to remember that getting through the day is just as important as winning. So if you know that you're not going to be able to take it to James Fox here, if you're Grayson, I wouldn't be pushing the equipment. I wouldn't be pushing myself. It's hot out there as well. So I would be okay with kind of letting that fall a little bit in order to have maybe a bit more endurance in the feature, in the final here this evening. And looking through, going around, the popsicle sticks are out and 2 laps to go now as they go through. And again, you can see where gaps are. They're pretty steady where they're at. And Diesel Maxwell, Bo Laser, they're running pretty steady times as well. Maxwell might be under some pressure by Laser by the end of this race. We'll see what happens here as leaders go down the backstretch. About a lap and a half left.
A lap and a half to go indeed for your top two in the top kart machines. Through the bus stop they go to climb the banking at Daytona, heading down towards the hairpin. Gap is 1.3 seconds between the two of them as James Fox continues on with his run through the infield section of the circuit. And so far, as they will get the white flag one more time around James Fox, looking to try to see if he can go and take home the checkered flag in all 4 events this weekend, because it is a doubleheader weekend. We have the races today and then the races tomorrow where we will reverse everything. So pretty much this class will be one of the first classes to compete in the morning session, with the 206 cadets leading off in the afternoon. And there you see that battle between Diesel Maxwell and Bo Laser right there as they work their way around the circuit here. Big run coming from Bo as he tries to work his way out of the triple apex towards the back straightaway. And he's going to try to take the long way around as here comes James Fox leading the charge one more time here to take home the checkered flag in heat race number 1 for the micro division.
Coming around here, final corners, doing a great job here. Fox has been so dominant through this run, and he'll find the checkered flag first, and then Grayson Wyatt will be second there behind. Gap in the end was 1.8 seconds, so definitely some saving being done there, I feel, from Grayson against James Fox. Well back in further, almost 12 seconds off Diesel Maxwell, Bo Laser, and Patrick McNeely, the last one here in the Micro Swifts to come through, and Mini Swifts are to follow.
Waiting for the final micro driver of Patrick McNeely. There he is, heading into the scale line, and we will now send out the mini drivers as we get set for their heat race of the day, and we'll get your starting lineup here momentarily. And here it is on the front row. It is Danny O'Gara, followed by Richard Dobbins in second place. Chase Thixton will be in third, followed by Kason Hendrickson. Fourth place is Austin Taylor, looking to go back-to-back here for today's action. Blake Martinez in sixth position. Christopher Heinzen in seventh, and Leah Simonelik rounding out your 8-kart field for today's action.
I think this is going to be a fun one to watch as well with the minis, just kind of knowing the challenges that will be found from them. A lot of hard racing to be found in the mini class, as always, just as we saw in the 206 Sportsman this morning. So I'm interested to see how the mini Swifts handle the change in the track from this morning and how everyone gets through. And they gridded it up early. Look at that. They're not even into the infield, and they're already going double file.
Absolutely. It's actually going to be incredible to see how it plays out for them. Richard Dobbins, Danny O'Gara, some of the front runners we saw in the 206 Sportsman division earlier this morning. Austin Taylor won that event earlier today, and looking to see if he can pick up a couple of spots to see if he can go for a feature win in the Mini Swift category. They enter into the start box. Do we get the green flag set to go racing? The answer is going to be yes, indeed, and away we go. Already O'Gara checks out and gets a good clean pass to the inside as untough break for Richard Dobbins. He'll drop back multiple spots out of the first corner, heading over through the triple apex before approaching the back straightaway.
And as everyone comes onto the backstretch here going through, you can see a little bit of jockeying around in the back, but up in front, it is just open air, open territory, open track. Nobody able to challenge the front runner here as we go through through Daytona into the hairpin for the first time. And it's second place back is really where the challenge is, because up front, no surprise to see that we have some positions mixed up. Look at that, swapping around for second again as we come through. They'll cross the line, and oh, there's it off.
A tough break for one driver. That's the number one of Austin Taylor around there on the back straight, on the back couple of corners right there. Tough break for him on this opening run. He'll have some work to do in the feature race later on today as we now pick up a little bit further back the battle for P2, 3, and 4 between Dobbins, Thixton, and Martinez, who are now trying to fight on for the second position.
Yeah, watching Dobbins, Thixton, and Martinez here battle it out as they go along here. Up in front, O'Gara is just running and trying to really just not have any problems. Doesn't want anyone behind. You can see tucking the helmet there, looking towards the apex, trying to just get as much as possible in the terms of space behind, wants no challengers coming from behind here. 3.5 minutes left to go. O'Gara's opened up a 1.1 second gap, and that gap will continue to try to open. Dobbins to Thixton has opened up a 1.1 second gap as well. So Thixton to Martinez, half a second off. Martinez to Hendrickson, half a second off here. So you can see things have started to spread out a little bit here in Mini, but watch as they'll accordion. They'll start to compress here as we get towards the last minute or so, and we'll start to see battles really get together as the number one of Taylor did get back going and is on track and is pretty far back, but we'll see some good battles nonetheless. Taylor's going to have a great final, I'm sure.
Absolutely. I'm curious to see what he will do. It's just a little bit of a challenge, back to the front challenge for him as he will work his way through, but keeping an eye here on the rest of the field as we watch Danny O'Gara leading the charge. Dobbins trying to see what he can do, but he's under pressure from Thixton as we watch Thixton and Martinez jockeying around for position. This is the battle for P3. Martinez trying to go on the inside on the triple apex, will do so, and I think he's going to move up a couple of more spots. That's the battle for P4. Martinez, Hendrickson, and Simonelli right there in that position.
Yeah, Martinez there in the lead of those three going through that number 38 plated cart, just trying to hold on ahead here. Hendrickson looking pretty quick, though, trying to find a dive there. And then Simonelli there and just behind with the green helmet is looking, just sort of looking for where a pass can be found, and maybe just trying to find, you know, if there's a 2-for-1 special to be found, it's a good way to get it, is just being patient, sitting and waiting here as the mini heat continues along. Here's a dive down the inside into 2, and that's a great send from Hendrickson, trying to get past Martinez, and does get past Martinez. Turn 2, one of our big passing opportunities, and we see it again here in the mini heat. Just go and prove a great position. It's the end of a long straight. You set it up just right, and you slingshot it, late break it, whatever you want to call it. You do it right, and it sticks.
Absolutely. It makes it work, makes it stick, and as they continue on their way, really good here, battle for position. And as they snake their way through, Martinez start to lose a little bit of touch there to Thixton and company as they come through the final couple of corners. A minute plus 2 laps to go.
1 minute to go here. O'Gara up 2.2 seconds, continuing along, and these positions continue to be contested here for 4th, 5th, and 6th. They are not done at all here, but I do also have to say, remember that this is just the heat. We do have the final later this evening that has to also go through, so maybe some of these mini drivers were told, hey, don't push it too hard yet. Remember, you got one more race after this one to go. So you got to wonder what the long-term strategy of the afternoon is. If they're sort of playing the game, we don't really have a good way to know up here in the booth. We just kind of see it as it goes. Crossing the line, 20 seconds to go for O'Gara. He will not get the 2 to go signal this time by. So we do get a bonus lap here, essentially, as he goes through. But he's got 2 seconds to the clear behind. So for O'Gara, it's really his race to lose. But Dobbins is looking pretty comfortable there.
That's kind of why I'm surprised Austin Taylor just didn't decide to pull it in. He wasn't going to make up any time on anyone. He was going to be starting in 8th position when we go feature racing later on this afternoon. Pull down, utilize, save those tires as best you can, so that way you don't keep on burning them away. So unless he's just going to go out there and just putt around a little bit, which by the looks of it he is doing so, because he is almost about to be a lap down. Thankfully we're 2 laps in till the end of this race, but so far it is Danny O'Gara leading the charge once again. 2 laps to go for him, about a 2.1 second advantage over Richard Dobbins.
Yeah, there's the 2 to go signal coming through. That gap continuing to open up, increase here. Martinez, Simonelli still fairly close with each other back in the battle for P5, and they are continuing to sort of try to sort out who's going to get what position there as they go down the backstretch here. Our leader goes to the bus stop. Just not a challenge in the world. And whenever you're a driver in a position like that, and you don't even have to look over your shoulder, you're just basically hot lapping on your own, and you know you've got control of the field. It's a good feeling here to see for O'Gara. O'Gara doing a great job here through the final couple of corners, and we'll be coming around to the white flag this time by. And there is that white flag here in the minis. Again, these karts and going through this class. The minis are ages 8 to 12. Again, it's a lot of the same drivers we saw in 206 Sportsman this morning. So final lap coming through for them, and we'll see O'Gara likely win as long as he gets through the rest of this lap cleanly.
Big surprise for Blake Martinez, dropping down the running order a little bit too, as Leah Simonelli gets around him for the 5th spot as they come up to Daytona for the final time for Danny O'Gara, and the Top Kart machine slides his way out of the hairpin as he enters into the infield section of the course. That number 167 is looking quite strong out there and looking to put on a stellar show for us in his feature race. Across the start finish line, checkered flag for Danny O'Gara to lead us off in the mini heat race here today. Richard Dobbins in second, Chase Thixton rounds out your podium, Kason Hendrickson in P4, as Leah Simonelli, Blake Martinez, Christopher Heinzen, and Austin Taylor round out your top 8. Well, with that, that will bring us to our next category, the 206 Senior Medium. So we'll give them a few moments here briefly before we turn them loose and get set for racing action in the 206 Senior category. We have a total of at least 3 more heat races before we set off for the feature races this afternoon. Excited to have you with us here on Kart Chaser. Don't forget to follow us and subscribe to keep up with all the latest in karting action, whether it be the grassroots that you see here at Whiteland or up in Ohio at the Motorsports Country Club, to some of the regional events that you'll see, such as the Texas Sprint Racing Series, to the national events of the SCUSA Pro Tour, the United States Pro Kart Series, or the Stars Championship Series, and some of the biggest events in karting, such as the Miami Grand Nationals at Trackhouse Motorplex, and of course the big show of the year, the SuperKart USA Super Nationals at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. As here is your starting lineup for the 206 Senior Medium. Levi Wilbur will be on the front row with Braden Heber. Nicholas Nossman will start P3 with Evan McCorkadale in P4. Gage Jessiano starts P5 with Adam Maxwell in 6. Robert Carroll and Nick Patton are in road number 4. Mike Hammaker and Reed Esslinger will be in road number 5, rounding out your top 10. And I know we have at least 2 more drivers here. We'll see if that will scroll down for us to get the final 2 in 11th and 12th. If not, we'll just wait for them to cross the line to give you your full field rundown in the heat race here today for your 206 medium. And as they do so across the line, it's going to be Cindy Dodd. And Cindy Dodd is going to be the only one in 11th. I know we had 12 drivers out there at one point, so I guess one driver decided not to join us here in the heat race for us today there, Bradley.
Yeah, trying to look through and see if I can tell who that is going through here. Looks like it was Andrew Goldman, who was disqualified for being light in the scales. So Andrew Goldman is the one that we don't have out there, was disqualified from qualifying, so not taking place in this senior medium heat here as they come through, and we wait for them to get through the infield. They'll get gridded up here. Again, 5 minutes plus 2 laps, and if they survive turn 1, should be a pretty good one.
Absolutely. Big no-no, though, for being too light in the end of qualifying there, as here they come into the staging lane and get set to go racing in 206 Senior Medium Heat Race action. Through the tram lines they'll go, and our official gives the green flag, and away we go. Heber already gets a big jump over the rest of the field. McCorkadale makes a little contact with Levi Wilbur as they snake their way through the triple apex here of turn 3 and 4 as they approach turn number 5. And head down the back straightaway on turn number 6. This is some real good action, but already Braden Heber has pulled away from the competition. Will Wilbur and McCorkadale have anything to try and hunt down one of your championship competitors?
Heber there starting on the outside in a great position, was able to just sweep through and go. Everyone's through Daytona without issue. Everyone's through the hairpin without issue. Now through the infield section we go. Everyone just keeping it together at the moment, holding on. Top 5 all very, very tightly contested. Heber's going to need to pull out some gaps pretty quick here. As they cross the line, you can see everything shuffling up here. Heber, Wilbur, McCorkadale, Maxwell, Knotsman, your top 5 as they go through. And Wilbur, McCorkadale, Maxwell are going going to be a very, very close contest. But the thing that they need to remember is that there's plenty of race left here. 3 minutes, 55 seconds to go. They need to work together and try to get after Hebert.
Well, it seems like that's the case for Wilbur, McCorkadale, and Maxwell. They're starting to stay lined up nose to stern as they come out of the bus stop. McCorkadale gives a great push out of the Daytona corner, and they picked up about 2 kart lanes and are now all over the back bumper of Braden Hebert after that couple of corners right there. So they are in contention. It's going to be about a 5-horse race here for the top spot as they come through the infield section out of the final couple of corners. 3.5 plus 2 laps to go. Braden Hebert under pressure from Levi Wilbur.
Head down into turn 1, no dives being attempted here, but turn 2, forgive me, is going to be one of the places where I would expect to start seeing pressure applied quickly. Hebert here going defensive. Wilbur's right there on the back. McCorkadale, Maxwell all together right there. So plenty of defensive driving being found already. Hebert looks over. Side by side, they go into the bus stop. Hebert doesn't want to leave a lot of room for Wilbur. Wilbur's going to try to force the issue there. Wilbur takes a different line through Daytona, down into the hairpin, hard on the brakes. Hebert trying to defend it through, but Wilbur with a great move through. Now McCorkadale wants to mix. Maxwell wants ahead of McCorkadale. And here we come through the infield section, and McCorkadale, Maxwell, they'll sort it out. Let them shuffle these 5 karts together, but it is going to be a new leader as they cross the line. And Hebert, second verse, same as the first. We said it this morning, I'll say it now. Loses 2 positions in 1 lap.
So that makes it 3 nickels you now have, Bradley?
Yeah, which is a lot weirder.
It is. It's a lot weirder. Could it happen again? We're going to find out, because how about the Coyote package right there of Adam Maxwell moving up to P2 as he tries to now keep pace with Levi Wilbur as they work their way through the bus stop up to the banking of Daytona. He is going to give him a little bit more of a push to try to see if he can find his opening. And a big slide right there from Maxwell and company as they come through the infield section. But Levi Wilbur now taking charge to lead this train of karts as they come out of the infield across the line with 1:45 plus 2 laps to go. And so far, tuck the head down, get themselves ready to go. Levi Wilbur leads the charge into turn 2.
And this charge through, continuing along, just keeping this battle alive and going here as they come out of the triple apex here into the double left-handers. We go down onto the back stretch. Let's see what can set up here. There's a bit more of a gap, I'd say, between the top 3 than there has been in previous laps. Let's see here through the bus stop. Things are closing up. A little bit of draft helping through Daytona, maybe looking to make a run. Yes, into the hairpin we go. Wilbur down the inside of Maxwell with a hard send, and Maxwell's going to just repay the favor, go back around the outside and get the position back if he can here. Back through in top 5. This is really hard fighting here in 206 medium. They are really mixing things up here as they go through. They'll cross the line here. And as they cross the line, it will be Maxwell who stays ahead of Wilbur, if only just no passes into turn 2 this time. But I tell you what, the hairpin is really showing off.
It really is. Some great passes we have seen all day today through that hairpin since the start of the action this morning. And how about McCorkadale? He is in a good spot. He's just waiting his time as he's now caught up to the back bumper of Braden Hebert to get around him possibly for the 4th position. But Maxwell starting to let that coyote howl and pull away here from the competition as now here comes Wilbur with a big send down to the bottom. And I noticed Maxwell on that pass that he tried to protect against, he almost parked it a little bit off corner exit as here's a pass for position as Nossman tries to find the opening and gets punished for it as Hebert takes the spot away for P4 or P3 now, and now sets his sights on Levi Wilbur heading into turn number 2 to make it 3 laps to go for your competitors. So we get a bonus lap for our competitors as they come out of the triple apex and a little bit of breathing room for Adam Maxwell.
Yeah, Maxwell would love for Hebert to attack Wilbur right now and just leave him some room behind here, because that bonus lap is not what Maxwell would have wanted here. Maxwell would have loved to have gotten the 2 to go signal that time by. Would have made his life much less complicated here. Let's see as they come through Daytona into the hairpin. Look at the send from Wilbur, closing that gap significantly into the hairpin as Hebert is still looking to chase his way through, do what he can here around. Heber would love to get back up into the front, and honestly, Heber, if he plays his cards right, he could. There's the 2 to go signal. So we have this lap and one more as they cross the line. No moves into turn 2 yet again. It's not been popular for 206 medium, but somebody might just have to make it popular.
We only seen it really happen once this morning in one of our categories where we saw some people really send, but it then ended into contact and chaos. Here, though, most of the passing has been happening either around the bus stop or on that hairpin or in the middle section, that final infield section of the course. Here they come out of Daytona. Wilbur looks to the inside, sends it in and parks it, but Maxwell tries to respond to go around the outside. He's going to have a little bit of help there from Heber, and as they cross over to the inside, Maxwell retakes the lead, and Heber puts the bumper here to Wilbur, who now capitalizing goes back to the inside of Maxwell as they drag race to the line one more time around here. Maxwell by just inches ahead as Wilbur sends it in deep into 2.
And as they go through here, one final attempt for these 5 karts to sort out positions here, going through, everybody looking for a position to be found, everybody snaking their way into the backstretch. They go down towards the bus stop. Heber's going to pull out. It's a move into the bus stop. It was 3 wide in the bus stop for a second. It goes back single file. Heber's going to lose position. They go 2 wide on Daytona and down into the hairpin. They go side by side. Shut the door on Heber. Coming around into the infield. What a great move there from Wilbur. Maxwell will be the one in front here, and it looks like he will hold on for the moment.
Here comes Adam Maxwell as he tries to hold off the hard charge from Levi Wilbur across the line. It will be Adam Maxwell who holds off the hard charge of Levi Wilbur. Heber, McCorkadale, and Nossman, your top 5. Gage Justiano finishes P6 as we wait for the rest of the field to come across the line. Carroll and Patton. Then it'll be Hut Haymaker, followed by Andrew Goldman. Reed Esslinger will finish P11, and Cindy Dodd will start tailing Charlie in the feature. She has a little bit of work to do, but hopefully will make improvements after starting in P12. Next on the docket will be your 206 junior heats. 3 more heat races left to go in the afternoon session before we head off to the features. And it will be the 206 juniors, the Supermasters and Legends division, and then the KA Senior and KA Masters as the gates are about to be open and we're about to turn people loose out on the track.
Front with Jordan Lepin joining him in the front row, Lucian Laser and Parker Dunn, the second row, Nico Santos and Maxon Cleve in row number 3, Nolan Wade and Maximus Seward in the 4th row, Juju Sakagar and Tyler Nash Turner, the 5th row. Saiva Kumar.
Yeah, Saiva Kumar is what I was. I think it's Saiva Kumar indeed, or Siva Kumar, as Tyler Turner will round out your top 10, and we'll get set for the action here in your 206 junior category.
That is a cart with a wheel missing on it.
That
here.
is not a good situation. Who was that? Can we get another look at that from our camera operator one more time to get the number off that cart?
I think that was the number 7 number plate from last round.
Oh, I see a track official catching up to grab what looks like the tire. Oh, that's just him giving everyone to slow it down a little bit. As there appears to be the driver over there. So no, this is from the 206 junior category. We'll find out when they come across the line.
Was that Parker Dunn?
It could have been. Let's find out, though, when they come across the line. And as he does so, here they come into the start box to get set to go racing. And green flag is out. We're racing here for 206 Junior. And I might think it might be the driver of Gio Nelson, possibly. We'll wait for official timing once they come across the line here. And away they go, heading into the turn 3 and 4. And as they approach over towards turn 6, good fight for position as Lathan and Laser battle for the race lead.
Lathan and Laser there looking at going side by side through the bus stop. They opt not to now. They go through Daytona for the first time coming around, and they all keep it single file. Everybody made it through turn 1 mostly unscathed, but no, that was actually the number 7 of Parker Dunn who we lost there. Not seeing Parker Dunn showing up on timing here as they come through. So yeah, Parker Dunn, it looks like losing a wheel before the race could even start. Unfortunately, not what you want to see, and that will, of course, give a last to first challenge through the feature here. Everybody making it through. We're 1 minute into the heat. Battle for third place between Cleve and Santos continues, and we'll see how this plays out here through the next 4 minutes.
And as the field works their way through the corners here, heading onto the back straightaway, everyone's trying to hit their marks. A little look over his shoulder right there for Lucian Laser as he tries to see the gap between himself and Jordan Lathan as they come out of Daytona towards the hairpin. Has a little bit of breathing room. Then you have the battle for P3 between Max and Cleve and Nico Santos as those two will go side by side off corner exit and make the run over to the infield.
As they continue through, just keeping P1, P2 there together. Somebody's off in the infield, though, as they go through and around. It looks like that was somebody somewhere around Santos or Seward. It was hard for me to tell who that was. It looks like it was actually 34 Santos, who is around backwards and has beached it on the curb.
Tough break there for Nico Santos. That's going to result in not a great finish for him. Currently falling down the running order as we pick up the rest of the field out of the back straightaway. They will go 3 minutes plus 2 laps as Laser continues to hold the charge for the time being as they come up to Daytona and head towards the hairpin. Yellow flags may be out still unless Santos was able to get clear off that berm. And it looks like he is able to do so with the curbing heading off into the infield. Nope, they decided to pull him down. He is out of today's action.
And that's unfortunate to see because definitely Santos would have wanted to have more of a run. But once your cart is beached, you get out of it there or the officials touch your cart. Typically, that does mean your race is over. So unfortunately for Santos, it will be starting at the back for the final here later this evening. 2 minutes, 15 seconds left to go in this heat. And right now, Laser and Lathan are looking to pull gaps on the field if possible. First and second place here, having a great run. 4 seconds out from Thomas Anthony, who started on pole and unfortunately has been relegated to third and just cannot catch the rest.
Certainly not the case here as we watch this battle between your top two of Laser and Lathan as they snake their way through the infield S's. And as they do so, Lathan gets a great run right there in his machine. And he's going to try to set himself up for maybe a pass for the race lead on the back straightaway. He tucked up nicely behind the driver of Laser as here comes the battle for P4 between Cleve and Seward, who are right there as Maximus tries to hold on for position. Then you have the driver of Siva Kumar right in hunt as well in 6th position as there's the leaders coming out the back straightaway.
And as they go through out of Daytona again, you can see they're just holding on to pace as they can, continuing to push along. And it does look like Lathan is trying to find a little bit of position, a little bit of time here to do something and make a move, but it just doesn't seem like he's able to capitalize. It's that old saying that I've said like 27 times this broadcast, and I feel like every time I commentate any sort of racing, I say it. It's one thing to catch, it's another to pass. And right now, this is the pure demonstration of it. Lathan very clearly catching onto the back of Laser here, but not able to get past Laser and is just right there. And I can't really tell if it's biding the time to get past right now and not trying to push the issue, or if this is a case for Laser where Laser is actually holding off as they go through some lap traffic through the bus stop.
Oh.
And no, that was Nelson spinning.
Tough break there for Gio Nelson, who backs it up onto the back of the half of the course, continues on with his machine. No significant issues, though. He will continue racing, but be 1 lap down scored. With now coming with the 2 lap to go signal for your race leaders as they come across the line here. It is still Laser ahead of Lathan for a few short moments. Lathan trying everything he can to send it into the inside. Almost makes contact, and around goes Lathan. He nearly loops it around, but is able to save it. But here comes Thomas Anthony with a head of steam.
Thomas Anthony with tons of speed here. Let's see if Thomas Anthony can go by as Nelson is off again. Anthony putting the pressure on Lapin up for second place. Going through, unfortunately, Lapin, Laser, that little bit of contact, that is going to let Laser open up all of those 3+ seconds now. And for Lapin and Anthony, let's see how this goes as yellow flags are being waved for that number 5 of Nelson. Down the inside, there's the pass through, and that is going to be Anthony getting past Lapin there out of the hairpin through Daytona. As they get back going here, that number 5 in a very precarious position. White flag out this time by.
One more time around for Lucian Laser, who is going to hold on. Thomas Anthony moving up to set a good run here as he tries to make a charge, but he's 2.7 seconds back. I don't think he's going to be able to catch up to Lucian here in these closing stages, as he is now under pressure from Lathan, who now goes back on the attack, looks around the outside, but we see Anthony holding strong here as he looks over the shoulder, and here comes Lathan with a big head of steam down the back straightaway.
Down the back straightaway here, Lapin with great speed here. Let's see if able to capitalize this through the last lap. There is your race leader, Lucian Laser, who has had a great run here, had one moment and didn't crack under the pressure that was being put on by Lapin there. So Lucian Laser will come across, final corner here, is going to get the win here in 206 Junior Heat. And between Anthony and Lapin, let's see who crosses the line through. They're going to come through, and it is going to be Thomas Anthony up into second ahead of Jordan Lapin.
Maxon Klebe will finish P4 with Juju Sivakumar in 5th position. Maximus Stewart will be in 6th. Tyler Turner in 7th. Nolan Wade, Emmett King rounding out your 9 karts that finish the race. Gio Nelson and Nico Santos round out the field. I think we have a little bit of kart cleanup to do, so we'll go quiet here for a few moments, let you enjoy some of the sights here around before we get set for your next heat race, the 206 Supermasters and 206 Legends, heading out next on Kart Chaser. And with that, it's time to release the drivers in your 206 Supermasters and 206 Legends. It's going to be Brian Williams on the front row with William McLaughlin in second. Row 2, we'll see Tom Harleman and Danny Cutshaw with Travis Wilbur and Mike Bockert in sixth position. Matt Kirk and Clinton Stillwell in row number 4. Rounding out your top 10 will be, as they cross the start-finish line, Chris Whitaker and Wesley Bullock, Donald Bell and Richard Lemasters make it a 12-kart fight for this positioning here, as 206 Legends and Supermasters are set to go racing before we have our final heat race of the afternoon with the KA Masters and Seniors next on the docket.
It's going to be exciting to watch and see how the Legends Supermasters go through. We've seen some great racing throughout the day here, all the way through, and I already see McLaughlin taking the high line there on the banking of Daytona. So I have a feeling McLaughlin might have something up under the sleeves there that we weren't thinking about going through. And Brian Williams definitely probably going to be taking note of that. I'm excited also to see what Danny Cutshaw can do. I think Danny Cutshaw is going to have a lot of pace here in this run on this heat.
Absolutely, as the field works their way into the start zone over in the infield section of the course, they will go. William McLaughlin as well are going to be your points leader in the 206 Supermasters. Brian Williams, your points leader in the 206 Legends. As Williams trying to look for another chance here, as heading into this tram line, they will go. Your 2 points leaders in both categories lead the field as they enter. Green flag is out. 5 minutes plus 2 laps on the docket, and already Brian Williams checks out with a great jump on the field as he pulls ahead as McLaughlin drops back a couple of positions heading into the Triple Apex.
And heading through, everyone continuing along, some jockeying for position back in the back. I thought there was an off. I was going to say I thought we'd see an off, but there was one off there in the background. But up front, everyone holds on and continues along through the bus stop. Gaps opening up here early, and let's see how things handle into the hairpin. Nobody going for any dives. Nobody close enough for any dives here as they go along with the top 5 trying to break away. Top 6 trying to break away from the back half of the field as quick as they can.
Great fight for positioning here from fourth on back here as Cutshaw and company are under pressure from Travis Wilbur as they come out of the final couple of corners across the line. It's Williams, Harleman, Wilbur, Kirk, and McLaughlin. Danny Cutshaw rounds out your top 6. As a good fight here for Brian Williams, who is starting to pull away further and further from the competition. Great fighting, though, inside the top 6, as here comes a big run from Cutshaw to get around McLaughlin for the lead in the Supermasters division as Matt Kirk leads that charge.
And Matt Kirk leading that charge through. Let's see where these battles can go, who can find what in position, who can find what in time as they go along here. Top 3 Legends here going through, and then the Supermasters again in the mix as well. Everybody really fighting it out here. 3.5 minutes left to go in this heat race. Everybody going through, and J. Brian Williams, of course, in the front of the field, leading things through, sets the fastest lap of anyone with a 51.634 now as he crosses the line here. Harlem not far off in pace, but actually Travis Wilbur was faster than Tom Harlem last time through. So it'll be interesting to see if Wilbur can get past Harlem here in the next little bit.
Absolutely, as we keep an eye on the action here, this is the battle for the race lead between Williams and Harleman. Those two, of course, are some of the main competitors in the 206 Legends category. In fact, the only two who have won races in the 206 Legends category. Brian Williams already 5 wins for the season. Harleman 1 win of the season so far. And we're going to see how this plays out as Harleman and Travis Wilbur battling. This is your 206 Legends top 3. Everyone else, excluding Clint Stillwell, are 206 Supermasters.
And everyone going through here along. 2 minutes left to go. 2 minutes, 15 seconds left to go. And you can see really now this is where that sort of management, that mid-race pace is coming in here as they go through. Richard Lemasters dropping positions here down into P11. I don't think Richard Lemasters is on track anymore, though, unfortunately, going through and around. Let's see here. Continuing along. This battle for second between Harleman and Wilbur has really started to heat up.
Yeah, Wilbur is having a good fight here with Tom Harleman as he wants to try to pick up that second position in the 206 Legends category. And there's a pass there for second behind between Danny Cutshaw and Mark Kirk for second in the Supermasters division. Really good fight as they head on down. A minute and a half plus 2 laps to go. Great fighting amongst the drivers here.
Absolutely great fighting. And that is the thing about, kind of pick your pass, do what you can when you can here as Cutshaw up into the Supermasters lead going around and along here into fourth place overall and continuing through. We go in towards the bus stop and through Daytona once again for the top three as they continue along here. They pulled out a 5-second gap to all of the karts behind here. You can see them there on the top of the shot going through Daytona. Then just as we're going through the infield section here, and that is just how things have spread out. I think the heat has really kind of changed the way a lot of people thought their karts would handle compared to how they're actually handling. I think it's starting to really kind of mess with some of the drivers' setups and how they have their karts dialed in. Maybe it's just a little bit hotter than anyone expected.
Absolutely, and I think a lot. But the thing is, also, they should have been able to make adjustments by taking a look at the weather. But the problem is that track temperature is always fluctuating as the temperatures continue to rise. There's one driver out off the track right there, as I see, as they work their way through around the circuit. And so far, there is your battle for second. Harleman holding strong. Wilbur tries to show the nose down on the bottom of the racetrack, makes the pass and parks it to move up to P2.
Getting a pass up into P2 here and continuing along. We'll see, is there going to be a pass back? Popsicle sticks in the air, 2 to go will be the call this time by here as they come along across the line here. I have a feeling that Harleman is going to go for a pass here soon. Not into turn 2 though, but does take a slightly different line, setting up through turn 2, going through the infield section and through the triple apex here, not able to get the pass done. You can see the different lines from Wilbur and Harleman as Wilbur is trying to defend from Harleman here. Going along as time is out, and you can see going down the backstretch there as some of the field is just now getting to the start-finish line to start their 2 to go laps. Through Daytona we go with the leaders coming around, and they are going to send it through, and let's see here how they go fighting between Wilbur and Harleman. No pass to be found here. They'll be coming to white flag this time by. And I say Harleman is going to go for a move here fairly quickly.
I would have to agree with you on that there, Bradley, as they make their way down towards turn number 2. And Brian Williams already pulling away. In the Supermasters, it's Danny Cutshaw who leads the charge in that category. He has about a second advantage, 1.3 over William McLaughlin, as we watch them work their way through, heading over towards the back straightaway here. Big run coming for him as we watch this battle for second place between Wilbur and Harleman. Wilbur holds strong. Harleman tries to see if he can show the nose to the inside. Here they come out of Daytona, heading to the hairpin for the final time. Big run, not close enough to try anything through there. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, Brian Williams leading the charge, picking up where he left off, and he's going to be one to watch. Didn't get the checkered flag in the 206 Masters, but is looking to get it here as he crossed the line to win in your 206 Legends. Meanwhile, in 206 Supermasters, it is going to be looking like Danny Cutshaw to win that category, William McLaughlin and Mark Kirk rounding out your top 3 in Supermasters. Great race there amongst your 2 categories. As we wait for Clint Stillwell, Chris Whitaker, Donald Ball, Wesley Bullock, and Richard Lemasters, the last few drivers to make their way out onto the circuit.
Great run from all the drivers there in Supermasters and Legends going through, and that will set us up for a great run here for the final class to take on their heat races. The KA Senior and Masters, just the only class left here to run through. They had some great qualifying, and we'll see here what happens in their heat race.
Absolutely. The KA Masters and Seniors are here next on the docket, ready to go racing. It's the final heat race of the afternoon session before we turn them loose for features and give them the big money and give out the trophies for round number 7 of the 2025 Indy Karting Challenge. And here's your starting lineup. It's MPG Kart Republic of Austin Olds on the front row, followed by Dane Van Dyke in second place. Row number 2, Macy's AJ Lund, a series winner already this season, with Raider Santos in 4th. Macy Galen will be in 5th position, followed by Abram Dean in 6th. Row 4 will see Kevin Simonellic and Jaden Burton. Row number 5 will see Eric Estrada and Joshua Nelson, who is there running in 10th. He is going to be your only KA Masters driver competing as he looks to pick up another win.
I have a feeling, I'm gonna say this now for this heat race. If we get through turn 1 well, we're gonna see some really, really hard racing. But I think the key is gonna be getting through turn 1, lap 1, and that is easier said than done.
It always seems to be the case. It's very easier said than done, as we have to take out one kart. That looks like to be the 22 machine, maybe? So we cleared the track finally of all the karts that are needing to be removed off the circuit. So now we should be set to go racing here for your KA categories in this heat race. As the gates are open, release the karts and away we go here for the final heat racing action before we get set for finals later on here in a few moments. After this, we'll take a quick 10-minute break, say thank you to some of our amazing partners here at Kart Chaser. And then we will set them off for you as trouble for one kart who stalls it there on exit. Is that going to be one of the top kart machines trying to get a number off of it? Can't quite see it right there, and he's not looking too happy. He is not going to be able to make the start.
That was a very, very obvious glove throw of frustration. That was not any sort of happiness to be found there. So I'm not sure which kart that was, but whoever that is, they are not making the race start here. And well, you can tell how they feel about it here on the heat. Hopefully they're able to get the kart together and they'll be able to start for the race here in just a little later in the evening.
One way to find out here as we get set. Trying to see who that could have been looking through the field. AJ Lundane, I see Abram Dean. Could that have been Macy Galen? I think this looks to be the case for Macy out of the competition. Tough break for them as they will be out of the chance here. There's another look quickly at your starting lineup. 9 karts there for your KA seniors, and then Joshua Nelson, the lone KA Masters driver, set to go racing as they come out into the start zone to go racing for the next 5 minutes plus 2 laps. Into the tram line they will go. Everything looking nice and clean, and I think I see Austin Olds, who got pole and looks like they all clear, but decided to do the last to first challenge type deal. Green flag is out, and away we go, and already drivers jockeying around for positions, and Austin Olds already picking them up and putting them down as quickly as possible as he is already up a couple of spots and sets his sights on P6 as Dane Van Dyke leads the charge heading out of the back straightaway.
And Van Dyke with a great run here down the back stretch, going through, opening up a gap early, second place with a gap early. Big moves there for third, coming into the hairpin there. That was Dean and Santos, I believe, going through as they jockey for position. Third place on back, top 2 holding on where they are, but that is a great, great move from all of them going around. As they cross the line, we'll reset Lund, Van Dyke first and second. Olds all the way up into third off the race start. Raider Santos in fourth, and Abram Dean top 5 there as they go through. But you can see third place really contested early on.
Dane Van Dyke, your previous round winner in the KA categories. And of course, it was AJ Lund who picked up multiple wins this season, a total of 3 so far. So he's looking to pick up where he left off as he is your points leader as well in the KA senior category. Heading over towards the infield section of the course, Lund has currently a significant gap, I would say about 4 kart lengths, as here comes Austin Olds with a head of steam onto the back bumper of Dane Van Dyke, and I believe that's a Tony kart right there sitting in second of Dane Van Dyke. And Austin Olds, He's already picking him up, putting him down a 45.62 compared to our race leader with a 46.1, as he's making short work and gobbling away the gap between himself and your race leader of AJ Lund.
Such a great run from everyone here going through, and let's see how this lead closes up and what happens here going through for AJ Lund. If he can hold on while he tries here, plenty of gap ahead, and there's a dive down the inside. That's a great move from Olds to get up into second place, not even contested there from Van Dyke going through, so he gets in a great position there quickly into P number 2. And well, this is the throw the line. See, here's the thing. He's going to throw the line. He's not going to let it rest. He's very quickly going to try to reel in AJ Lund, and we'll see how quickly he does it here, as we're already halfway through this heat, 5 minutes plus 2 laps.
1 second currently separates your top two right now, Austin Olds and AJ Lund, from, of course, working his way up through the field, and he is closing in. Meanwhile, battle for third between Raider Santos and Dane Van Dyke. Those two are about to go and do battle. Here comes Santos down to the inside in the top cart. Can't quite make it work. Will follow suit behind of the Tony Kart as they work their way through out into the infield section. And already here comes Austin Olds with a big head of steam as they come out of the final couple of corners, and already across the line it is now down 0.7 of a second to 0.3 here. Already exciting fight for the race lead as they come through the triple apex.
And as they go through here, continuing to battle along, and look at that, trying to make a dive down the inside. Lund runs a little bit wide there. Olds trying to put some pressure on quickly. Olds very clearly feels like he's the faster kart, but it's a matter of getting the pass done here for Austin Olds. Through Daytona, going to look to the inside. Lund was going to go defensive to the inside. Lund is going to try to switch back through the hairpin. This opens up Van Dyke now in the mix as well. So for the moment, Lund was able with a great defense to hold on there. And Olds is just trying
contact!
to do it again. They go together, and he's off into the grass.
Oh, tempers flaring already. Trouble for Dane Van Dyke. He loops it around after the mistake he made right there, and that will put the Tony Kart out of contention. I have to say, race officials will probably be looking at that as well. Austin Olds, though, is your new race leader here at the moment with 1 minute plus 2 laps to go at the end of this race.
That entire section of track there from the hairpin on, that was hard racing. It was hard to tell exactly what happened there. Olds went for the move, and it was defended by Lund, and then they were coming around through. They went side by side. It sent Lund off into the grass. He came back on, and then it seemed like Van Dyke ended up getting side by side with Olds and went off the other way. And unfortunately, it looks like it just kind of spelled big disaster for everyone except for Olds. Olds up into the lead here. Austin Olds now setting off 0.1 of a second faster than Raider Santos and AJ Lund. Last lap is looking to just open up a gap here, but I mean, as you said, Taylor, I have a feeling that race officials are going to be taking a look at that one.
Absolutely. We'll keep an eye and give you an update here on that action. Meanwhile, of course, no pressure for KA Masters driver Joshua Nelson. He's moved up a couple of spots into the 6th position after starting tail end Charlie in this race. And Dane Van Dyke out of the race. Jaden Burton moving up a couple of spots along with Eric Estrada as they work their way through. And already the battle for second between Santos and AJ Lund as they get the 2 lap to go signal for Austin Olds across the line. And Santos and Lund will do battle heading over into turn number 2. And here comes Lund with a big send here to the inside. Can't quite make it work. He'll cross over around the outside to see if he can get some momentum on his side as they head down the back straightaway. And Santos doing a great job of holding off AJ Lund and coming down the back straightaway now. It's about a kart length separating those two as they head to the bus stop towards Daytona.
And as they come through Daytona here, I have a feeling that Lund is going to be using the lessons he just learned from that battle with Olds to try to get this pass done on Santos here. We'll see how he goes through the infield. He's got the pass through. Santos goes wide there into the penultimate corner, and that opens up the door for Lund to make his way through. Last lap this time through, and it does look like here Olds and Lund, 1 and 2, Lund and Santos there 2 and 3 as they go, but Santos trying to get the fight back and come through here as white flag is out and going, and just the back stretch here to go. Olds not contested at all right now. We'll see how the decisions go later. Right now it's Lund and Santos P2 that's really the big fight.
So technically, if you think about it, between the battle between Lund and Santos, that could be the battle for the race win, depending on the penalties that could be given out for that MPG Kart Republic of Austin Olds as they work their way through the infield section. It looks like Lund was able to get around Raider Santos and across the line. Olds provisionally wins the heat race here, and then across the line it will be AJ Lund and Raider Santos. Abram Dean should be next to come across the line, along with Kevin Simonellik, to round out your top 5 finishers in this race, and Joshua Nelson winning in KA Masters. No surprise there. With that, we're going to step aside for a quick commercial break. We'll take a 10-minute break as well, and then it's time to give out the trophies. It's Micro Swift Finals starting at 3:53 p.m. here on Kart Chaser.
Brandon, why are there all these charges for just over $200?
I'm tired of all this Brandon business, okay? Brandon this, Brandon that. Why are there all these expenses on AKR over $200? We know, okay? Take a walk with me. At Shop AKR, they have everything you need to start racing at a very cheap and affordable price. They have MXC rims, they got chains, electrical stands, tilt seats, they got MXCs. And if you didn't know, on top of that, any purchase in the continental US over $200, that's free shipping.
Hey, aren't you supposed to be in the AKR Anonymous meeting over there?
Dude, I'm doing a commercial.
Dude, we have no time. It's about to start.
Stop. We all love Shop AKR. Me? More than others. What do I get at Shop AKR?
MXC rims.
Kyle, what are you doing?
It's got my new Greyhound seat.
You don't even have a cart.
Doesn't matter. I have a Greyhound.
Who the f is Kyle Cuthbertson? Doesn't even have a go-kart.
Doesn't matter.
Cuthbertson through on Turney, Turney in the dirt.
K1 Circuit, the world's greatest outdoor karting facility, is now open. Open karting and rental session schedules are available online. Rentals will resume today after the race event at 5 p.m. Thanks to Kart Chaser for live streaming the event at K1 Circuit. Your coverage will resume shortly.
DPK Americas is bridging the gap between the U.S. and the two-time world champion DPK Alonso Kart factory team in Europe.
In partnership with Team Binnick, they offer drivers a complete career path from the Americas to Europe that allows them to continue their driver development on both sides of the world, all underneath the DPK umbrella.
For more information, contact DPK Americas at max@drivensm.com to take the next step in your driver development journey today.
you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
Hey, what's up, Caleb?
What's up, Brandon?
You sound defeated. A long day at the office?
Yeah, got stuck at a cat food marketing meeting for like 3 hours. I don't know a thing about cat food, and I don't even work in marketing. And then I got sent on a coffee run like I was some sort of intern. Then at the end of the day, when I went to go get gas, I just realized everything is so darn expensive nowadays, man.
Yeah, you got that right.
Like, do you have any idea how much we're spending on Netflix?
That's like $20 a month.
Do you know how much we're spending on cable?
That's like $50 a month.
But you know what isn't expensive?
Tell me.
Kart Chaser Premium. For only $9.99 a month, you can watch all the American karting action live from coast to coast. Subscribe and become a member today.
The K1 Circuit Semi-Pro League. This is a competitive race series with 2 classes. Junior Series for those who are under the age of 18, and the Senior Series for those who are 18 or older. If you think you have what it takes, come out and prove your skills on League Night. Both schedules are live on the K1 Circuit website. Your Kart Chaser live feed will resume shortly.
This is Henry. Henry feels sad. Henry feels sad because it's time for his next big race and his go-kart is in bits. Henry doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing is the United States' #1 shop for all of your karting equipment needs. Henry also doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing can deliver anything from tires to race suits and even wheels directly to your front door or to the racetrack itself quickly and efficiently, with tech support available 6 days a week. Poor Henry doesn't even know that Acceleration Kart Racing offers free shipping to mainland USA on selected product if you spend $200 or more. Do yourself a favor. Go to accelerationkarting.com and make sure that you are never left stuck on the pre-grid with Henry. Be smart and don't be like Henry.
all the way.
And we welcome you back here for the action to kick off the finals here today. And Bradley, it just shows you how quickly today's action goes. And that's one of the things we love about the Indy Karting Challenge here. Ready racing, multiple different sessions all throughout the day. And as we get ourselves ready to go racing, Bradley, a couple of thoughts you want to give regarding some of the action we saw for the afternoon here today.
Yeah, it's been a great afternoon. Also, hello to whoever that is waving along out on track. It's been such a great afternoon of racing all the way through. All day it's been great, and it's always great to kind of see these grassroots runs here at this K1 circuit here, the Indy Karting Challenge. It's so great to be here in Whiteland and kind of get to watch just everyone go through, have the fun, see all of the teams show up here. It shows how much karting is growing and how many people are involved with it to see this going through. And this final, it's the end of the day today. We still have a whole nother day of racing tomorrow.
Yes, we do. We have one more racing day of action tomorrow. And here's your starting lineup for the Micro Swift Finals. James Fox and Grayson Wyatt. It's a top Kart 1-2 here for the day, with the Mohawk King of Diesel Maxwell starting P3. Bo Laser will be starting P4. And Patrick McNeely, your top 5 here in this event today. Waiting for the last few moments here before we turn them loose out onto the track for 10 minutes plus 2 laps around here at the K1 Circuit in Whiteland as we get set here. One of the oldest karting facilities in North America, as we will be getting set to a couple of final tests and tunes, make sure the engine's fired. And we're happy to have you with us here on Kart Chaser, and hope to have you back with us tomorrow as myself and Justin Prince will give you the call to action for round number 8 of the Indy Karting Challenge here on Kart Chaser. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow to keep up to date with all the action here in the world of karting.
All the karts getting out here on track here, running their formation lap in the micros. Again, I talked about it this morning. I'm going to talk about it again this afternoon. This is, you run the 5 minutes through, but then there's 5 more minutes. And the big difference, I think, between this morning and now is it's a lot hotter right now than it was this morning when we ran our finals in this morning's classes. So we'll see how our youngest category of drivers, the 7 to 10-year-olds here in the micro, are able to handle the 10 minutes here through. Will we see any drivers really sort of close things in? Will we see things kind of mix up, or how will things go? This is going to be an exciting one to watch here.
To give you an idea of how hot it is, even though the air temperature says it's 88 degrees, the heat index is showing about 92. So a nice hot day here up in Indiana for our competitors. And tomorrow, looking to be just about the same as they head into the start box here to get set to go racing in your Micro Swift category. And already drivers set themselves up to make the run over into turn number 1. Green flag is out, and away we go racing here at Whiteland as they make the run over towards the Triple Apex. And Grayson Wyatt and James Fox already checking out on the competition as they head through the S right here before they head towards the back straightaway. So far, so good amongst them. Everyone clean and green as they head to the bus stop chicane over towards Daytona.
Yeah, as they go through, keeping this moving and going. This is going to be an interesting one to watch here as they come through the infield. Nobody going for a move through the hairpin at the moment. Everyone getting settled in here early on and coming through the infield for the first time, coming out onto the main stretch. Onto the front straightaway they go, and Wyatt will be ahead of Fox here as they go, or Fox ahead of Wyatt, apologies, as they go through here, running through. And my question is going to be, how long does that last? And we saw through the heat that Maxwell was very quick against Laser and McNeely. Will that continue to be the trend here in the final?
As the field works their way through, it might be a little bit interesting to see how this plays out amongst the two competitors. And as they do so, working their way through, Fox and Wyatt just biding their time, not pushing the envelope, got a long race ahead, but also want to try to stretch out the field.
Yeah, and I think, finding that decision, the push versus pull, is going to be a very interesting sort of situation to be in. If you're in the front, they need to balance the pace, not overdrive it, but not underdrive it as well. And that is a really hard thing to manage, especially in these younger categories, because a lot of times we even saw it during the race starts time and time again. This younger category, they want to go, 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 go. And you can't always do that. Sometimes you have to reel it back that 1 or 2%. So I'm curious to see how they handle that here on the run today.
Keeping an eye on the competition a little further back for third, Laser, Maxwell, and McNeely back at it where they left off here as they work their way through, and McNeely loses a little bit of time as he slides his way out of the corner, because here comes Maxwell with a big run. The Mohawk man tries to and pushes a little bit out of Laser, who loses a little bit of ground, slides the cart, and allows McNeely to get around him on the outside.
Yeah, great move there, getting around the outside there from McNeely to go through. As it looks like somebody is going a little bit slow down the front stretch there, coming through, and I believe that is Laser, who is actually going a little bit slow there down the front stretch, but able to get back out and going. We're already 3 minutes into this 10-minute heat here. You can see Fox has wasted no time stretching out a little bit of a gap there from Wyatt as they go through Daytona, running around, and we'll see. He's got great pace so far, but can the pace be held on? 49.3 last lap versus a 49.9 for Grayson. Let's see how much more time can be found here. Crosses the line this time by, and it is a 49.3 yet again, but a 49.4 for Grayson. So Grayson being able to find a little bit of time there in that number 5 cart to find through. Gap still opening a little bit, but if James Fox falls off a cliff in pace, it's going to be the big difference.
It certainly is going to be the case right here for us, Brad, as we watch this action here. Currently, the gap is 1.2 seconds, so it's kind of now just been stabilized for the driver of Grayson Wyatt. He's not wanting to lose time, but he doesn't want to gain and burn off his equipment as quickly as he is. So he's keeping pace, but just keeping a little bit of cushion to not really make any too many mistakes here in this early part. 6.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go for your competitors as they work their way through the S's in the infield. Coming out of the final couple of corners, the gap right now is going to be another fast time for James Fox, and lost about a 1/10 of a second to Grayson Wyatt as it's 1.4 seconds.
That 1.4 seconds still going to show that time open up. It's just a matter of how long will it stay like that. Let's see as they go through. This is going to be an interesting one to really watch continue along as they go. As they go and continue the battle here. 5.5 minutes to go. And just keeping the pace there, coming through the hairpin. It definitely seems like Fox there running through still, in a very good command, but it does seem like maybe a little bit of tire grip has been lost out through that infield section. Definitely didn't seem as grippy as it has been here. Gap resets though, 1.9 seconds. So continuing to open up here, and you can see the gap between Wyatt and Maxwell over 10 seconds now. It's actually 12 seconds as they cross the line. So you can see that pace difference really coming out here as we go into the back half of the race. This is where the endurance portion is going to start coming in and making your way to the end.
Yeah, James Fox has really showcased he has that second half speed that he expects to showcase here today, as he ran a 48.8 and really going to kick it into overdrive here a little bit more as he continues to expand upon his race lead here over his teammate of Grayson Wyatt. Coming through the infield section out of the final couple of corners here, there's the gap between himself and Wyatt. And as they cross the start-finish line, the gap now 2.6 seconds between your top two. It just shows you the speed that Fox has and how much fall-off Grayson Wyatt has right now in this stage of the race. As they head over through the Triple Apex, Diesel Maxwell still holds P3 over Patrick McNeely by about a second. Bo Laser struggling right now. A tough break for him in this stage of the race.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see Bo Laser struggling the way Bo is, but there is always tomorrow, so hopefully Bo Laser comes out tomorrow and is able to come out swinging first thing in the morning going through, because again, remember, tomorrow the schedules flip around a bit for the Sunday event, so they run in a different order, and that will mean that these karts will have a great early morning run. They get the cooler weather tomorrow and they'll get to have a good run. No rain in the forecast for today or tomorrow, so should set up very, very well for them as they go through, continuing to watch this battle continue along and go through. All of these drivers at this point, this is experience under their belt. Again, this is our youngest category running of the day, along with the 206 cadets that ran this morning. So all of this is experience. All of this is them learning really what works, what doesn't, and getting comfortable under the seat time here is really what this is about. And don't be surprised if you see tomorrow some of these karts get even faster.
Absolutely. I have a feeling that some of these drivers here are going to go back to the drawing board and see what adjustments they can make and realize, hey, this is what I need to do to help get through the corners a little bit better. I need a little bit more here, a little less right there. And they will have a sit down with their mechanics as well as also their coaches, especially in these cadet categories, where they can discuss and figure out what would be the best course of action to maybe not even gain time, but maybe just be a little more consistent with their lap times. Because I'm looking at the timing right now as we're 2 minutes plus 2 laps to go for our leaders. Grayson and James are both running in the 49 seconds consistently. But for Diesel, Patrick McNeely, and Bo Laser, they've kind of been fluctuating between the high 50s and the low 51s and just going back and forth. So right here, it's a good time for the coaches maybe to sit them down and explain, hey, this is where you're losing time. This is where you need to pick up a little here, get back on the throttle here, get on the brakes a little earlier right here in order to improve upon that. So this is great coaching opportunity for all of these drivers to help improve upon themselves and hopefully work their way up the rankings, whether it be here on the club level, moving to a regional, and then the national level in the future.
Yeah, and it makes such a big, big difference, too, for all of these drivers as they go, to learn these different skills early and learn them at this regional level, because it does expand in. And, when you start running, at national levels or at, those large national competitions, it gets very, very challenging very quickly. And honing in those skills early makes such a big difference here as we go through. 60 seconds left to go in the race. And at the moment, Maxwell and McNeely very close to each other here. You see them coming through Daytona. They're separated by about 3 to 4 tenths here, varying. It's accordioning a little bit. And Maxwell with a great run there through the hairpin. McNeely not able to keep up, but McNeely is able to close the gap towards Daytona. So possibly a change for P3 to come in the final few laps. 45 seconds left to go as they cross the line. And as they cross the line, the leaders are actually, I believe, approaching Daytona now.
Yeah, they are just now going through the bus stop, so we will have possibly a bonus lap for these drivers, because by the time James Fox crosses the start-finish line, it'll be about 15 seconds left to go on the timer for our drivers here as we watch the battle between Maxwell and McNeely as they work their way out through. And we'll pick up the driver of James Fox, who's just now coming to the start-finish line there. So make it 3 laps to go for your leader as he enters into turn number 2. Great run through there, holds his line, and will continue to hold charge as he has a 4.5 second lead over his teammate Grayson Wyatt. So a great day for the Top Kart team for sure, as they're looking to go back-to-back with their categories in both micro and the 206 cadet category. Same with James Fox. So a great points day and taking home 2 trophies here in today's action in round number 7.
And that is exactly what you want to be able to say to do, is that you've taken home multiple trophies in a day in multiple classes. It's such a good feeling going through, and it gives a great boost of confidence into the day tomorrow. Coming through final couple of corners here, and there are the popsicle sticks, as you've called them, and that's the 2 to go signal. And there we go down the inside here into 1, taking the slightly different line there for Fox compared to what we've seen other people, but Fox has such a lead, it kind of doesn't matter. Can kind of do what he wants to here going through. You can see the field really spread out here a little bit as they go. Maxwell and McNeely coming across the start-finish line, 2 to go signal. They are still very close in the battle, and at this point, I would watch for McNeely to make a move sooner rather than later.
I agree with you right there, Bradley, as far as McNeely firing off to get a good run through there and taking the third step of the podium for his chances in the championship hunt. Of course, he has picked up a win so far this season, and he's looking to do more. He hasn't been able to pick up a win in the micro Swift category, as white flag in the air for James Fox as he continues on his way.
And as he continues on his way here, final time around, it's just smooth sailing at this point. You see that white flag, don't push it, don't do anything unnecessary, no risk need to be taken here down the backstretch. Smooth and collected is the name of the game. Goes to the bus stop looking very, very well and is gonna come through, hit Daytona. Great run through Daytona and final time through the hairpin. And this is just smooth sailing home.
Count them, five wins for the driver of James Fox in the micro Swift category. No one really has been able to hold a candle flame to him. The only two drivers to win this season is his teammate Grayson Wyatt, but it is James Fox who captures the flag and does the double here today. And now the big question is going to be, can he go all the way by winning in all 4 races he should be planned to enter this race weekend, as he's got 2 more to do tomorrow.
Great run from him there as we wait on the remaining karts to come through. There is Maxwell and McNeely, so they do not swap positions. And then Bo Laser there in 5th place across the line. So Micro Swifts with a great final running through the 5 karts, going and having a great run. Next out is going to be the Mini Swifts here. And I think Mini Swifts are going to have a lot of fun as well here on the finals, wrapping up their final races of the day.
Absolutely, Bradley, as we get set to go racing in your Mini Swift category. Danny O'Gara was the last time was the last race winner in the last round in number 6. And he's looking to go back-to-back for his wins here today and looking to try to take the championship fight to Blake Martinez. Martinez did not have the best of heat races, so is looking to try to see if he can capitalize on it and move up further in the running order for the championship. Here's your starting lineup. It is going to be Danny O'Gara, followed by Richard Dobbins in 2nd place. Row 2 will see Chase Thixton and Kason Hendrickson, another winner in the championship in the Mini Swift category. Leah Simonellic and Blake Martinez, your 2-time winner, sits P6. Then Christopher Heinzen and Austin Taylor, who took home the 206 Sportsman division. He's looking to try to sweep the divisions he's entered in this weekend. And he's got to do so, though, from tail and Charlie after having an incident in his heat race in the Mini Swifts.
Going to be interesting to see how Austin Taylor recovers there from P8 up into the front. Mini Swift is going to be a great one to watch here as they come towards the run here, and they're going to be sent on around here. Let's see how they do going through this run. It's 10 minutes again, plus 2 laps. So remember, they have that little bit of extra time to sort of space things out. Do any of them use any strategy, or is this a drive till you can't drive anymore sort of situation? I wouldn't be surprised if it's drive till you can't drive no more.
Well, I think the biggest goal is going to be hopefully that kart stays on, keeps the wheels on that kart as well, as all karts do make it out onto the grid to compete in this Mini Swift final as they enter into the final couple of corners before they approach the start box. And there you see Austin Taylor starting their shotgun in the field, trying to see if he can find his way through and pick up multiple spots. And there you see Christopher Heinzen, who's got a little bit of work to do. He fell all the way back and he has a little bit of work to catch up before they enter into this tram line.
Yeah, and let's see here if able to catch up as we head towards the tram lines now and trying to go through, or will this be, I think, our first false start of the day? No, it looks like everyone catches up really well, so we'll see what happens.
We certainly will as they enter into the tram line. We've been really good about starting these races, everyone keeping it clean on the starts, no false starts given whatsoever, and we get another green flag start here to continue on with the action in Mini Swift. And already Danny O'Gara checks out with the race lead here as they come through the triple apex. He's got to worry about, though, Dobbins right behind, along with Kason Hendrickson, who snakes his way up through the field. And here comes Blake Martinez up to P4.
Great run there to get up and going here early into P4. Continuing along here up in the front, O'Gara, first time through Daytona here for this final, has a great run early on. Let's see here, everyone through the hairpin without issue and settles it in here. The minis will get their way through the first lap. It looks like up front, O'Gara maybe under a little bit of pressure here by Dobbins early on. Let's see as they cross the line how things stack up. You can see a good mix of karts together there coming across the line, as that is Martinez, who is in fourth place, who is feeling some pressure there across the line. We go as O'Gara, Dobbins,
around he goes,
continuing to push.
He nearly went around, lost a couple of spots right there, but is able to continue on forward as we watch O'Gara and Dobbins battling for the race lead. And Richard Dobbins having a good run here as he's got a good tow coming for him as they head from the bus stop and up through Daytona down towards the hairpin. He could have something here for Danny O'Gara in this race lead. Hendrickson sits back in his third position as we have to worry about the drivers of Chase Thixton and Austin Taylor, who's picked up a couple of spots.
And as we watch here, Austin Taylor working up the field slowly but surely into sixth place. I would not be surprised if we don't see Austin Taylor earn some more positions as things go. O'Gara and Dobbins continuing to battle up in the front. They're going to try to pull a little bit of a gap here to third place of Hendrickson if they can. But right now, it looks like they may start battling with each other here for first and second. O'Gara, Dobbins here separated by not a lot here. Dobbins is going to have some slipstream. Look at that, tucking the helmet all the way down against the steering wheel towards the bus stop, trying to get the run into Daytona, leaning into the banking here, trying to find a little bit more pace, a little bit more time down into the hairpin. And Dobbins is going to really be pushing here, trying to give pressure to O'Gara, trying to find that run, trying to get up into the lead.
He was a 10th faster last time by compared to Danny O'Gara right here as they come through the final corner across the start-finish line. And right there, O'Gara responds by running the fastest lap of the race. It's 0.2 of a second separating your top two. Kason Hendrickson, Chase Thixton, and Austin Taylor are starting to close back in, but they are currently 1.4 seconds behind this battle for the race lead. They have a little bit of work to do as they try to hunt down. And actually, as I speak, both Hendrickson and Thixton have pulled away a little bit from Austin Taylor as he is now falling into the clutches of Leah Simonelli.
Continuing these battles along here, Simonelli getting very, very feisty here early. We'll see if there's more to be found going along, continuing to keep the pressure alive. Plenty of great battles all the way through this mini final here. We're not half race distance yet. Plenty of battles continuing to develop. O'Gara and Dobbins again. Here's a dive down the inside going through. This is not O'Gara and Dobbins. This is back Hendrickson and Thixton, I believe, is who is battling there. And that was a swap for position very quickly going through. Let's see now, can they work together to catch the front two, or will third and fourth place continue to battle for third?
We're going to find out here as 6.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go is starting to befall us here in the late afternoon, currently 4:15 p.m. Eastern time. And there you see your drivers battling for the third position. Hendrickson doing everything he can to hold off Thixton right there in the 139 machine, in that brightly colored highlighter machine, as he tries to hunt down the driver of Hendrickson in the top kart. O'Gara up ahead still as a top kart 1-3 right now for the two drivers in that category. And as they work their way through, here comes Thixton with a big run. Actually, I got to reverse. Thixton is right there in third. Hendrickson holds the fourth spot. Hendrickson now trying to recover nicely to get back into third.
Yeah, continuing to battle along here, getting a great run here all the way around through Daytona we go, and this is where the pressure starts to mount quickly for everyone as we go through. We've hit 5 minutes through, 5 minutes to go, half race distance in time plus 2 laps. Let's see here where the battles continue to develop. O'Gara, Dobbins, Thixton Hendrickson, Taylor, Simonelik, Martinez, Heinzen continuing to battle through as they go. Austin Taylor has managed to get up into 5th, and we'll see here. Austin Taylor is 2 seconds off of P4. It's not a lot of time left, but it is possible there for Austin Taylor to close that if he can find the pace to do so.
I think the problem right now that befalls him is that he is losing touch with the draft right now. He's got a little bit of help coming from Leah Simonelik, but he's not that close like we see the battle for P3 between Thixton and Hendrickson as those two do battle for that 3rd step of the podium. Meanwhile, O'Gara and Dobbins, no changes whatsoever. Dobbins is trying to keep pace with about a half a second behind your race leader as they come across the line. It's now down to 0.4 of a second. So he was able to pick about a 10th right there to continue to fight and hold on to the position. 4.5 minutes to go plus 2 laps.
Yeah, keeping this battle alive through and going. I do agree with you there. I think it's going to be hard for Taylor, but, would be exciting to see nonetheless if it could happen. Let's continue to just watch here as the battles continue to go. Seeing where things can happen here up in the front. O'Gara, Dobbins separated by half a second here as they continue along on your view now as they come through. This is going to be one of those that I think if Dobbins has anything left to give, now's probably the time to give it. Hendrickson trying to battle it out with Thixton, and I think Hendrickson is really settling in here as they come across the line. Down towards turn 2 they go, and let's see here, nobody able to make a dive into turn 2, but everyone is closing in. 3.5 minutes left to go here for your mini final.
Good fight for positioning here as we watch those two battle. Thixton holding strong over Hendrickson. Hendrickson has a really good run, but the problem is he's just not able to find that opening to get around Thixton. He caught him, but he can't seem to pass him, and he might try something here heading into the hairpin as he shows the nose a little bit going around the outside, but thought better of it. Tucks back in the line behind Thixton in the top kart machine as those two will continue to battle, and Thixton now just going on the defensive, white lining around to keep Hendrickson behind in that number 2 machine.
Yeah, and keeping Hendrickson behind is going to be a very, very important job for the next 2 minutes, 45 seconds coming in through turn number 2 they go. Nobody really making anything here. Again, I think we've hit that point where there's a little bit of a breathing moment here near the end of the race, but once we see the 2 to go signal, I think things will really, really start to swing around. We'll start to see some battles develop, but right now I think this is just everyone trying to get a little bit closer to the end of the race while they can, which is easier said than done here. You see the gap close really, really well there off of the run down towards the infield section here, the final go. Hendrickson closing things up on Thixton, not able to get the pass though at the moment, but is closing it up here. Same thing with Dobbins and O'Gara closing it up, but no pass to be found.
2-minute warning given out plus 2 laps to go here for our competitors as Danny O'Gara still holds on to the race lead by 0.7 of a second over Richard Dobbins. Chase Thixton still in a heated battle for 3rd with Kason Hendrickson, who is just poking and prodding, trying to find that little nick in the armor that Thixton has to be able to hold on and get around for the 3rd spot here at Whiteland as they work their way out of the hairpin. Thixton gets a little bit too wide. That opened the door briefly for Hendrickson, but Hendrickson also went too wide, shutting the door of opportunity for him to gain a position as they come out of the final couple of corners. 1:20 to go, heading down the front straightaway, heading into turn number 2. O'Gara really putting the effort on and watching on. Thixton does a great job to pull away from his competitor of Hendrickson in this first couple of opening quarters to hold off the hard charge towards the back half of the track where Hendrickson has the better run.
Yeah, and just do what you can when you can is the big thing here for Thixton and Hendrickson. Take advantage of everything while you can because you'll be able to get in a great position near the end here. There's no racing after this today, so go ahead and give it your all here and be smart with it, because the big thing you don't want to do is go for a pass, end up having a moment, and then end your own race here. See as they go across the line, as we go through Thixton and Hendrickson, continuing to battle it out here. 30 seconds to go, so it'll be this lap plus 2 more. So call it 3 to go. as they go through, and you still see them trying to close up where they can. You see, again, that accordion effect hitting as they hit the backstretch here, heading towards the bus stop into Daytona. It's going to start to close yet again with that draft coming in through the bus stop, hit Daytona really well here. And now here we go in through the hairpin. It's going to accordion back out again. How do you overcome that? That is the question. I don't know.
Well, I'm having a tough time trying to figure it out either, as there we see the popsicle sticks in the air for Danny O'Gara, who currently holds on, and it looks like right about there, Richard Dobbins picked up a little bit of time, still behind, running a little bit further compared to your race leader, but he's starting to make a little bit of back on the ground he lost here in this stage of the race. So Danny O'Gara still holds on. Dobbins still comfortable in second place. Chase Thixton having to deal with a hard-charging Kason Hendrickson, who gives him a little bit of a push down the back straightaway, heading through the bus stop and into Daytona. But there you see Thixton pull away just a little bit to get some breathing room heading into the hairpin. And they're actually closing in a little bit on Richard Dobbins.
Yeah, closing in that little bit here. White flag coming out. The big thing is I think they're running out of time to close in on Dobbins. And how much is the gap? Well, the gap is 2 seconds between O'Gara and Dobbins, but it's a second, 1.4 seconds back between Dobbins and Thixton. So I think it's just the time's running out there for O'Gara there. And the lead, I mean, not a care in the world at this point. This is a case of you've had such a great final run, so much so that you haven't had anything to worry about. It's just get to the end at this point.
Absolutely. And for the driver of Danny O'Gara, and we watch that battle for P3 between Hendrickson and Thixton. Hendrickson tried to go around the outside, crossover, loses it though, and that's going to be done deal for Hendrickson to not get that third step of the podium. But for Danny O'Gara, it's going to be back-to-back wins for him in the Mini Swift category. 2 wins for him in the season to join Blake Martinez up there. And with Martinez running in 7th position, not a good points day for him. This could draw Danny O'Gara closer into the championship talks for 2025 in your Mini Swift category. Richard Dobbins, Chase Thixton round out your podium finishers with Kason Hendrickson and Austin Taylor in your top 5. Leah Simonelli, Blake Martinez, and Christopher Heinzen round out your 8-kart field. From there, we go to your 206 senior medium drivers that are next to head out onto the track here for our racing action. And here's your starting lineup. It's going to be Adam Maxwell on the front row with Levi Wilbur. Evan McCorkadale starts P3 with Nicholas Nossman in 4th. Row 3, we'll see Braden Heber, your points leader, with Gage Giustiano in 6th, Robert Carroll and Nick Patton in row number 4. Mike Haymaker and Andrew Goldman round out your top 10, and Cindy Dodge should be starting in 11th.
.206 medium here. The key, I think, for their final is the same key we've said with all of them here. It's just don't overdrive here early on. Survive turn 1, and a little bit of patience can go a long way, but don't be too patient to where you put yourself on the back foot.
And away they go out onto the circuit for 10 minutes plus 2 laps. We still have the 206 juniors, the multi-class races of the 206 Supermasters and Legends, and then the KA Masters and Senior category on the docket. So a total of 3 more races left to go, not counting this one, as we had some great racing action here so far to start the afternoon. And 206 medium out there with 12 drivers. I forgot to mention Reed Esslinger as well. He'll be starting P11 for today's action. Heading into the tram line here, Maxwell and Wilbur will lead us to the green flag as they make their way through over into the first opening couple of corners. Who will come out on top? We're about to find out. We get the green flag, and away we go racing. And already it is going to be Maxwell and Wilbur who will lead us into turn 1 and 2. As they head through the triple apex, it's already close racing further back as they almost go 3 wide through the middle of the corner, back it down to 2 as we watch on through the field.
Everybody getting through the field here pretty well early on, getting through the first couple of corners. No big incidents with 3 wide there for a moment as they come through, heading towards Daytona for the first time. And it is a good challenge there for the lead up front into the hairpin. No pass to be found, but the challenge is there as everyone works their way through, going into the infield section here through the final corners. And as they cross the line here, will anyone set up a run towards turn 2? That is going to be the big question for me, because I think that will be a big popular moment here for the karts as they cross. And it is Adam Maxwell leading Levi Wilbur with Evan McCorkindale, Braden Heber, and Gage Justiano in the top 5. Top 3 here are going to be ones to really watch. But Braden Heber there with that bright highlighter helmet. Can Heber get back up in the front? It's going to be a challenge.
It's going to be a challenge indeed, because McCorkindale has caught the tail end of these 2 drivers of Wilbur and Maxwell, and he is going to try to work with them to separate themselves from the competition with this time going down on the clock. As they come out of the hairpin, everyone makes it through. A little bit of a slide right there by Wilbur. McCorkindale thought about trying to get around him in order to capitalize on that mistake, but it is not going to work out for him. Meanwhile, Heber now starting to reel them back in as they start to compress. So far, so good for the competitors as they come across the line here. And Heber sets the heater lap here with a 49.73. He's only 0.8 of a second, but he has picked up the pace here and try to see if he can find his way around McCorkindale along with Wilbur, his championship rivals here this weekend.
Looks to be able to here at the moment, having a great challenge here in the front, continuing to push through the top 4 as they go 2 by 2 coming through. It's a group of 2, then a group of 2 as they come through Daytona down into the hairpin. Wilbur looking for a move, taking the hairpin a little bit tighter there than Maxwell, but looks like not able to capitalize there that time around. Coming through 7 minutes 30 seconds left to go as they come through out of the final corner down the main straight, and they are really pushing things through here. First place Maxwell trying not to think about what's behind. Braden Heber thinking about a move. Everybody taking a slightly different line into turn number 2, but they all settle it out when it's all said and done as they run through here in the 206 mediums, continuing to push as hard as they can here. You don't have time to rest in this category because you let up for a second, you're going to lose 3 places very quickly here if you're in this front 4. So they have to push all the way to the end here. Challenge being given through Daytona again. Is it a move into the hairpin? It is a move into the hairpin. Wilbur's through. Maxwell's down 2 places in the spot of 1. McCorkindale gets through as well.
McCorkindale does get through, and this opens up the door for Levi Wilbur and McCorkindale to see what they can do. Heber's now stuck behind the driver of Adam Maxwell for the time being, so this could present itself an opportunity for them as they work their way on the front straightaway. Maxwell, though, gets a great run out of those corners. He tries to set himself up to take tucked up behind, but here comes Braden Heber with a big run. He's now going to take the outside line, a higher arc into the corner, and set himself up here on the back straightaway as he closes into the back bumper of Adam Maxwell. Out of the hairpin here towards the back straightaway, that 90-degree corner. And as they do so, all 4 of them tucked up underneath each other through the bus stop and up onto the banking of Daytona. And so far, it's not going to work out for them. No one sent it into the hairpin.
Nobody's sending it in there, so everybody continuing to battle through and hold single file. I think that might be the best option for some here at the moment, unless you're Heber. Heber really, I can feel it, wants to work his way forward, but is just kind of sitting there just slightly off to the back of the 3, not staying right on the rear bumper of Maxwell ahead, is just leaving about half a cart width of space ahead, and I think just waiting on an opportunity really to strike in. The issue for Heber has been making the moves stick. It's not been getting the moves done, it's been making them stick. Heber's made a move, and then the move has fallen apart a couple corners later, so that's the bigger issue at the moment, but let's see how how it plays out here. Through Daytona we go. Is there a move into the hairpin this time through? Nobody's going to peel out. Now it's another run of single file, and we're half race distance here. 5 minutes down, 5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. I don't know at this point what the best decision is, but right now it seems like all of these top 4 have decided the best decision is single file for the moment.
Well, when you think about it, I mean, for us, when we think of these 206 racing, we think of a lot of super speedway style racing that we see in the NASCAR world, where it's a lot of momentum based drafting that's going to come into play. You got to wait till you get that momentum, that pull, slingshot around your competitor, and hope you have enough momentum to make the pass work. And I have a feeling that's what these drivers here from McCorkadale, Maxwell, and Heber are going to do. As we now see down to the inside, and it looks like Maxwell will get back around the driver of Evan McCorkadale for second place, and he will do so. Great pass there. Meanwhile, Heber just patiently waiting here for the time being and see if he can set himself up for a pass.
Trying to set up for the pass here, going through and coming around out of the final corners down the front stretch. We're going to go here, and this is where McCorkadale and Maxwell have flipped positions. Now, is Maxwell going to try to make the move on Wilbur? No is the answer. Heber also not making the move yet again. Everyone's settling in where they're at. 4 minutes to go here for the 206 mediums to run through, coming out of the double right or triple apex there into the double left-handers on the backstretch we go. And again, you can see that gap open up a little bit between second and third of Maxwell and McCorkadale. They head down towards Daytona. As you can see how the field has spread out all the way through. The field has really opened up. You've got 15 seconds between 11 karts here, so plenty of time to be found for everyone as they go through here. 3.5 minutes left to go. I would expect some of these gaps to compress here near the end, and we'll see some battles further back through the field flare out as the top 4 continue to run. Where they're at here, Heber looks like wants to make a move into the second corner, doesn't make it stick though.
He tried to. He showed the nose to the inside of McCorkadale, but could not make it work. Maxwell, though, trying to show the nose to see if he wants to take over that race lead from Levi Wilbur, but is to no avail. Wilbur is locked in this race. He is ready to make sure he can be on the defensive to keep the rest of the field behind him as they come out of Daytona towards the hairpin. No one shows the nose just yet. He parks it on the apex to make sure he can hold on to this race lead for another lap.
Yeah, and that other lap here is going to be all important here going through. Braden Heber again looking for a look. Look at that. McCorkadale looking for a move out of the final corner down towards turn 1. That's a unique position to see someone pull out a line. Going towards turn 2 we go, holding on again where they're at. And McCorkadale looks quick right now against Maxwell, closing the gap very quickly through turn 2, but then opening the gap a little bit in through the triple right-hander, and then into the left there we go, and then another left. So McCorkadale may be sizing up a move here to try to get past Maxwell.
Maxwell doing everything he can here to set himself up through the field, and up onto the banking he will go. And right now, drivers try to send it down to the bottom of the racetrack. Good pass for positioning here as they try to set themselves up through the infield section of the circuit. And here he comes. Maxwell capitalizes, finds the opening, and takes the race lead away. McCorkadale tries to follow, but Wilbur's going to back him up, and this is going to cause some issues because look at the gap now between Maxwell and Wilbur with 1:40 to go.
And that gap is all important. It makes such a difference here as we see battles going through side by side, going along. This is exactly what the leader wants. This is just opening things up and letting the leader run away here with 1:20 left to go. And that is exactly what you want to see. Heber is going to be frustrated right now, and fourth is going to be saying, let me at the leader, let me at the leader, let me by, I need by you two, but isn't able to find it. Into the hairpin they go. They've lost touch with the leader. This could make a big difference in this race.
It certainly can make a huge difference amongst the competitors here as they work their way through. They got some lap traffic up ahead of them here as well, so that could cause a little bit of issues for your leaders as they try to negotiate. But McCorkadale hold on and moves to P2. Heber tried to move around Wilbur, could not make it work. He'll drop back in the 4th spot to hold on and find his way through. We should be getting 2 laps to go this next time by for your competitors as 30 seconds are left to go on the clock as they head down the back straightaway. But look at Adam Maxwell and the lead he has over a second as he makes the run towards Daytona.
Yeah, and that run towards Daytona here, all important for Maxwell just to stay smooth and consistent going through. Heber needs to try to get a pass done now if Heber wants to try to have a challenge on the race leader here, but I don't think he's going to be able to. McCorkindale really the cork in the bottle for everyone at the moment here, coming around the final corner here. We do not get the popsicle sticks. We do get a bonus lap, so that is going to be, if you're Maxwell, you're not happy about it. If you're McCorkindale, Wilbur, and especially Heber, you're very happy to see that bonus lap come to play.
Absolutely. You are very excited to see how this all plays out as they go side by side. A little further back between Wilbur and Heber as they try to work their way through. Not going to work out for him, though, as Heber does get around Wilbur for the third spot. And McCorkindale starting to pull away as they come through the bus stop as they get the 2 lap to go signal. This coming by around, and it's going to be close to see, can Heber try anything in the closing stages to at least get to second place?
It definitely looks like he can here as he goes through around trying to get the pass done. I think he's got it in him to get to second place. Popsicle sticks are out. 2 laps to go here for 2:06 medium as they go, and Heber in looking for a move into turn 2, doesn't make a move into turn 2. I thought Wilbur was going to actually pass him back there, but he doesn't. Heber looking possibly for a move soon, though, trying to get up into second place. I don't think there's going to be enough time to have a run at the leader here. His gap is 1.3 seconds in opening, but Heber would certainly love to have second place.
Absolutely, but a good point stay nonetheless for him as he's able to hold on to third position. McCorkindale up ahead of him, his championship rival, sits in the points lead as he sits in second place as they come through the infield section to take the white flag one more time around for Adam Maxwell, looking to take his first win of the season in your 206 senior medium category. And as they do so across the line, he is comfortably 1.6 seconds ahead and just has to set himself to cruise control as a couple of drivers go wide out of turn number 2. That was McCorkindale as Heber gets the second spot away and looks to try to chase down your race leader with a half a lap to go.
As he goes through trying to get things going here, half a lap to go, not enough time, but Heber very, very much going to be happy to get up into that second place. But Maxwell has had such a great run here, and Maxwell just needs to complete the final half a lap. In third place there, Wilbur and McCorkindale battling it out, and we'll see how they settle things through. But up front, Maxwell is going to bring it across the line. Has been very, very good all weekend, and is going to bring it through here on the Saturday to win 206 medium final here.
Great fight here, and as they do so, it will be Adam Maxwell, your race winner. Heber, McCorkindale, Levi Wilbur, and Nicholas Nossman, your top 5 finishers here. Justiano will finish P6. Robert Carroll, Nick Patton, Andrew Goldman, and Mike Hamaker round out your top 10. Esslinger and Dodd will also round out the field.
Tell you what, watching that 206 senior medium final, I really think for Braden Heber, if he could have gotten ahead of McCorkindale and Wilbur a little bit sooner, he could have had a run for the lead, but unfortunately he was not able to. So that puts him into the position he's in. That is a Kart, that is the 48 of Justiano, who is missing a right rear wheel. I wonder how that happened. That's out of turn 2. I believe. That's a weird position to be at, missing the wheel.
Mm-hmm. Very weird situation to happen. He's even taking a look to see if all the lugs were attached properly on there, because that is a weird place to break right there. But it's not the first time we've seen a tire get loose off a Kart here today. At least that's the second time, I would think.
Again, if I had 2 nickels for every time I saw a wheel come off of a Kart, if I had a nickel for every time I saw a wheel come off of a Kart, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot. It's just weird that it happened twice.
I wouldn't say it's weird for a Kart to lose its wheel, because we've seen that multiple times in other events. We'll go quiet here for a few minutes while they clean up the track. And next up is your 206 Juniors here on Kart Chaser. And as we get set, here is your starting lineup for the 206 Juniors. It's Lucian Laser, who's going to be on the front row with Thomas Anthony, followed in row number 2 by Jordan Lathan and Maxon Klebe, who are going to be in row number 2. Juju Sivakumar will be in 5th, followed by Tyler Turner in 6th position. And then the rest of the field will work their way through. You see on the track. And as they do so, here they come through the field, across the line. The rest of the field goes as follows: Nolan Wade, Emmett King, Nico Santos, Parker Dunn, Gio Nelson, and Thomas Anthony.
I think 206 Junior here, it's going to be, again, second verse, same as the first. Just push hard. These guys are not going to give each other time to rest. So you've got to just do what you can here to the end. And again, if they make it through turn 1, I think we're going to see some great racing here. Thomas Anthony definitely going to be looking to redeem himself here, getting his way forward in that number 317, starting in P12. He's going to be looking to work his way forward very quickly if he can.
And as the rest of the field works their way through, it's time to get set to go racing here tonight. Or this afternoon, I should say, as we wrap up the action here today. Only a couple of more classes after this. And as they enter into the tram line, we'll see ourselves ready to go racing here tonight. As they cross over into the tram line, everyone gets a good, clear action. And green flag is out, and we're underway. Laser already pulls out ahead of the competition and starts to pull away from the rest of the field as Lapin and company are under immense pressure from each other.
Yeah, and that pressure is going to build very quickly. Look at the back here, 2 wide, 3 wide coming through, but everybody able to get away very quickly and get their way through, continuing down into the bus stop they go, and now through Daytona for the first time. Lapin ahead of Laser here, going through back and back, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, trying to sort themselves out, keeping single file, slightly different line through the hairpin. Thought that was going to open up some battles there for P3, but it doesn't, as they come through the final infield section, first lap through, and that is going to be a little bit of time through and going as we cross the line here. Laser ahead of Lapin, my apologies, as they head down into turn 2. No passes at the moment, but there is a pass further back. 2-for-1 lunge there from Wade, I believe that is.
2 back away indeed, as Lapin and Laser are really having a great fight for position further back. And as they work their way through, how about Siva Kumar, who's worked his way up into the podium position?
Great run there from Siva Kumar up into 3rd. I would anticipate that is going to be challenged very quickly, though. Look at this, and by challenge quickly, I mean challenge now. Dive up the inside, going through for position, and is that Anthony that has worked his way up? And Siva Kumar now under pressure, possibly losing another position. And let's see here as they go through. I believe that is Anthony, the 317. Who's worked his way up. He's going to come through. Across the line we go, and that is Thomas Anthony up into P3 on a charge.
Absolutely a big charge and making more room as he tries to close his way up through the field and makes the charge up to the front, and he is going to do so as they work their way through. He's got a little bit of work to do, currently 3 seconds behind, but he is setting some incredible pace right now as he has to pick up the pace a little bit more. Jordan Latham, though, fastest on the track, putting the pressure on Lucien Lazier, or Laser, as he comes through and sets the pace out of the hairpin. Laser goes a little bit too wide, so does Lapin as they try to negotiate the infield section.
Yeah, and as they continue to try to negotiate this infield section coming through the final corner here, Lapin putting a lot of pressure there very quickly, and then you have the 4 carts further behind that are also battling it out here. Let's see what happens here down into turn 2. No pass at the moment. Laser is going to hold on against Lapin for now, but you can see the slightly different lines being taken. This kind of accordion effect that is coming through for that gap. It's opening a little bit. It's going to start closing again now down the back stretch once the draft comes in, once the straight line speed starts to kick in, and it's just going to be a matter of when do you get the pass done.
Setting themselves up here, and as they work their way around the circuit, Laser doing everything he can to hold on to the position. They are approaching on some lap traffic as well. That's Gio Nelson. They're about to do so.
Yeah, and Gio Nelson there. Oh, and off is the number 49.
That's 49 of Stewart.
Looks like it gets back going, though, thankfully, but looks like maybe just taking a bit too much curb there on the inside of the hairpin, trying to go for a pass that wasn't there.
I think that might have been the case. But back up front, Laser and Lapin are working their way through, and as they do so, it's going to be some exciting racing action here as they are working their way into the hairpin, and so far so good for your competitors. And as they do so, it's going to be some close action.
Yeah, close action all the way through there. You see the number 5 trying to get out of the way, and unfortunately it looks like just spinning there, trying to stay out of the way of other competitors and just respect, going a lap down. It looks like just dropping a wheel there. Unfortunately, Laser and Lapin getting through, everybody in the field getting through without issue. Unfortunate to kind of see that situation with Nelson, and hope to see Nelson back tomorrow, see if the luck can turn around for him. Laser and Lapin going through and continuing to battle up in the front as they get that number 5 of Nelson back on track and going here. Laser and Lapin still sitting 1 and 2 there, and Anthony closing up the gap very quickly, so watch out for that 317. We're half race distance, and that 317 has closed the gap up, so I would anticipate that we're about to have
big issue right here in the hairpin.
Big spin there.
And the 7 machine of Parker Dunn already goes over the curbing, realizes his mistake, and that's going to put him out of contention as we go back up through the field towards our race leader. And how about Thomas Anthony making the charge up to the front of the field? He is closing and barreling down on your top 2.
Yeah, he's doing an amazing job there getting going, and the big thing to watch with him is the fact that he just has so much pace, and I would not be surprised if he's able to catch up to pass here very quickly. And heartbreak there for Dunn. Dunn not taking a run in the heat race, and unfortunately is out here in the final as well. There's the 5 of Nelson getting out of the way here of the leaders. They have to go a little bit slower to kind of make sure they stay out of Nelson's way, and Nelson stays out of their way. And what does that do? That lets Anthony close the gap now half a second between the top 3. We have a 3-cart fight for the lead on our hands.
It's certainly going to be a fight to the finish here as they work their way through. And how about Thomas Anthony coming up through the field and really putting the pressure on as they come down the back straightaway? How about this run for Thomas Anthony as he's trying to see if he can get around Lapin and Laser with 3.5 minutes to go as they come out of the bus stop up through Daytona banking and heads to the hairpin. He'll show the nose to the inside. Will he send it? The answer is yes. He gets around Lapin for second.
Great run from him there. going through up into second place. Now the question is, how quickly can he get back up into the lead, or is he going to find himself in a position where he has to defend for second place? Let's see as they head down the front stretch here. Gap is going to be about half a second there from him having to get the pass done. So now he's got to work his way back up to Laser and then get past Laser. 3 minutes to go plus 2 laps. He's got plenty of time to do it. It's just a matter of, is he going to be able to get it done? It's one thing to catch, it's another to pass. He's going to continue to push here and apply the pressure there.
Applying the pressure indeed as the field works their way through, heading back onto the bus stop chicane. Laser now has a little bit of breathing room, but how about Thomas Anthony closing in on this fight? He might try to send it in again in the hairpin, not close enough, doesn't send it in too deep, but stays tucked up behind Laser for the time being as he tries to focus in, heading through the S's, and so far not able to make it work out of the corners. He will go and across the front straightaway, 2.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Across the line, Laser holds on, but Anthony really putting the pressure on, and he will send it to the inside and complete the pass.
Great run from him there to send that to the inside, complete the pass. Now he's got to just defend it to the end. 2 minutes to go, plus 2 laps. And let's see, he's already getting some pressure there from Laser. Anthony's been quick, but now he's out in front and he's got to defend it here. You see him tucking the helmet a little bit, getting very, very quick through the bus stop into Daytona. And let's see what can happen here. Can Laser try to fight him back for the position? Let's see going through. It doesn't look like it. Lapin now in third, possibly going to start fighting with Laser for second. Let's see here if Anthony has any weakness in the armor here as he goes through around the final couple of corners, continuing along. I don't see any there. Further back, though, battles continue to develop again. That is Siva Kumar, Nash Turner, and Santos that are battling it out for P6 further behind.
P6 already working their way through as they try to catch up, but how about this fight for the third spot? But Thomas Anthony, absolutely an incredible drive since the drop of the green flag here, and has already set himself up to pull away further and further up the banking, heading over towards the corner here of the hairpin. Laser thinks about it, can't quite make it work, and will have to drop back a little bit in order to lose some time, but they're starting to pull away from your points leader of Lapin, who is trying to hold on to positioning here. So far, not working out in his favor. With 44 seconds, it's going to be 3 laps to go.
Yeah, and as we watch this battle continue along here, going through around a little bit of traffic here, they are able to get the space through, leave the room, and I think that is going to really spread things out here with 30 seconds to go. But no, Anthony and Laser still right there bumper to bumper. Lapin losing touch, and let's see Anthony, Laser continuing along. I think Laser might want to try for a move in the bus stop, do something a little unconventional, mix things up a little bit and not go for where you would expect to move. He's got great run off of Daytona, not able to make a pass into the hairpin though as they head along into the infield section, the final couple of corners here. Time is through. We should get the 2 to go signal this time by, so your options are limited for passing. If you're Laser, you've got to make it work.
They certainly do have to make it work as they come and get 2 laps to go here for your leaders. And as they do, crossover happen. Laser trying to see if he can set it up. Can't quite make it work for him. And so far, it's not going to work as they come through the S's, heading over towards the 90-degree corner onto the back straightaway. One kart a while back went off course. There you see the dust clouds forming. And as they head down the back straightaway, Laser, can he set something up down into the bus stop? Not able to do so as they climb the banking of Daytona, heading towards the hairpin. He'll try the outside, cross him over to see if he can set him up on the inside. Not able to do so, and he actually loses a little bit of time to Thomas Anthony.
And losing that little bit of time is not what he needs right now. He needs to be closing the gap more as they're going to come across the line here. Final lap, white flag out this time by. 1 more lap, 1 more chance for Laser to try to get past here. You see defensive goes Anthony into turn 2, holding the inside line a little bit there. That's going to switch things up. Laser's going to look outside. Outside turns to inside if he can make it work, but he has to go back in single file here through. And now as they head towards the back stretch, I fear that his chances are limited. We'll see. He has the hairpin. That's going to be really his last-ditch effort to make it work.
Great fight here as they work their way around the circuit here, and as they approach the final couple of corners, Thomas Anthony, really great run through here. A little bit of lap traffic up ahead. Hopefully it doesn't cause any issues for your front runners as they approach. He will give way and concede, no problem there. But for Thomas Anthony, from a far away back of 3 seconds, fought his way, clawed his way to capture the flag here at the K1 Circuit in Whiteland. Really great run for him. Lucian Lazier finishes P2, Jordan Lathan P3, as we have a little bit of time to wait before we see the rest of the top 5 coming into this battle here as they work their way through. And there you see Nolan Wade P4, Maxon Cleve P5. Then it's going to be, hopefully, we'll see if it's Tyler Turner or Juju Siva Kumar, which it is Siva Kumar, then Turner, then Santos. Emmett King next should be on the docket, as he will come around. And then for Stewart, Nelson, and Dunn, they will not get the start. They will DNF here today. But for Thomas Anthony, your winner here today in your 206 junior category. 3 wins for him this season. And with that, we are now down to just 2 more races. Your 206 Supermasters and Legends feature race is about to get underway, and then we'll have the KA Masters, though, set to go racing later on here in a few moments.
It's hard to believe that today's went by as fast as it has. I feel like I just woke up 5 minutes ago and sat down and watched Cadet Sportsmen start in warm-ups all the way at 8 o'clock this morning. Hard to believe we're at 5 o'clock getting the Supermasters and Legends out on track right now here. This is going to be a hard-fought next 10 minutes for them.
Absolutely. Here's your starting lineup. It is Brian Williams on the front row with Travis Wilbur. Then it's Tom Harleman and Danny Cutshaw. William McLaughlin and Mark Kirk will be in row 3, followed by Clint Stillwell and Chris Whitaker. Donald Ball, and of course, lastly in there in 10th position is going to be the driver of Wesley Bullock, Richard Lemaster, Mike Buckert. Round out your 12 kart field.
I think the big key for the Legends and Supermasters here is truly the endurance. We're at the hottest part of the day at this point, and it's just going to be all about getting yourself and your kart to the end without any sort of, big issues going through. That is going to be the big key for me, for them. We'll see who is able to master that the best and drive the fastest, and then that will, I believe, determine who is going to be our winner here.
Absolutely, here as they're going to be lined up, doubled up, ready to go. And as they do so, it's going to be some exciting times here today. And as they do so, working their way through, it's going to be close to see the action here today in the final 2 races. Enter into the start box here with the green flag set in hand. Do we get it? Yes, we do. Green flag for 10 minutes plus 2 laps, heading down into turn number 1 on the start of the race. So far, nose to tail as Travis Wilbur and Brian Williams lead the charge, heading over into the triple apex. And so far, not going to work out as Williams leads their way through, and everyone else single file as trouble a little further back. 3 carts go around, make it more. We have the big one here in your 206 Legends and Supermasters.
5 karts around there going out into the left-hander towards the backstretch, but it does look like everyone else is able to go through. There's a battle for second place brewing ahead. This is where the fireworks are at between the Legends Supermasters. That was a big moment early on there going through near the back half of the field, and that has shaken things up immensely. As they cross the line, we'll get a recount on who is where coming through, and it is J. Brian Williams leading. Travis Wilbur about 2 seconds back from there. Tom Harleman, it's William McLaughlin, Danny Cutshaw into 5th. Donald Ball comes around in 6th for the Supermasters, and then it's Richard Lemasters, Mike Bacher, Mark Cirk, Wesley Bullock, Chris Whitaker, and Clint Stillwell, the 12 karts out and through. But that was a big shake up there from that moment there in turn 2, and another kart
trouble
off.
Another kart off indeed. That is going to be the number 1 of Danny Cutshaw. Unfortunate for him. These drivers, they may be in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, but sometimes they race like they're still in their 20s and 30s and think they have what it takes to be the top dog, and they're showing it here today. Brian Williams continues to lead the charge. 8.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go for him as he leads the charge in the 206 Legends. McLaughlin in the 206 Supermasters leads the charge in his category.
I gotta wonder if Cutshaw maybe had a little bit of contact there with McLaughlin, or if he lost it on his own, because that's not a place that we've really seen incidents. And here in the Legends Supermasters final, we've now seen 2 big incidents there right off of that exit, as we see them now taking out more and more dirt going through there. So I gotta wonder if that's just these karts being heavier, racing a little bit different, or if it's a case of contact. I don't really know what would have caused an off there.
Honestly, I don't know either. I mean, that was a weird spot to go off, unless he went a little bit too wide, clipped the grass, and unfortunately went over the curbing and hit the barrier right there. Unfortunate. So a tough break for them as he tries to hold on. But unfortunately, Danny Cutshaw out of the race in the early stages after only just 1.5 laps.
So unfortunate to see too, because Cutshaw is such a strong driver, but I will not be surprised to see Cutshaw come back tomorrow and have a great run going through. We'll see what happens all the way through. Watching this battle up front continue to develop here for these different karts as they go through. Everybody's still battling it out strong here early on. Under 7 minutes to go now, and still they're racing like it's lap 1 or the last lap, depending on which way you want to count the energy. They've got plenty of life left in the tires, plenty of life left in the karts, and they are giving it their all right now coming through.
Field now work their way around the circuit here as they do so, and already you see the fight for the race lead, as now Williams has a 3-4 second advantage over his 206 Legends competitors. But William McLaughlin and company, well, they're having a good little fight as well, as McLaughlin tries to move up further on the overall running order.
And trying to find that move up on that overall running order as they go, continuing to battle, going down through the backstretch. Now let's see here into the bus stop as they go, just keeping that draft, a little bit of pump draft honestly going on. We're not watching NASCAR, this is karting, but going through Daytona there, hitting a little bit of bump drafting here on the run as we continue along into the infield. And you see the patience really coming in here. 5 minutes, 50 seconds left to go. Nobody's really sticking the nose out for any sort of crazy moves. Nobody's really going for anything too unnecessary at the moment. They are really biding their time. They're holding on here between Wilbur, Harleman, and McLaughlin, and they are picking their moves for when they want to make it. They're not looking to do anything too crazy. It's just a case of if a move comes up, they'll take advantage. Otherwise, they're content to sort of follow through.
They certainly are, and as they do that, a couple of drivers work their way. How about Mark Kirk moving up into P5 and second in the Supermasters division, as he's really trying to set the pace here for him and really see what he can do in these closing laps as we approach halfway. 5 minutes plus 2 laps left to go here. And as they work their way through, a little bit of a slide right there by the driver of Wilbur. Harleman now under pressure from McLaughlin as they snake their way through the S's on the infield section of the circuit.
and keeping that pressure here through the infield section of the circuit onto the front stretch. It can make a big difference here. Is Brian Williams. We haven't talked about him in a second. I mean, he's checked out 5.7 seconds ahead. Our race leader is, and he's continuing to set fastest laps of the race time after time, just not even thinking about it here, running along and just kind of saying adios to everyone behind as second, third, fourth here, Wilbur McLaughlin and your 206 Supermaster leader McLaughlin, and then Tom Harleman, who is running P3 in 206 Legends. I mean, they are here battling out hard. They are, racing hard, but our race leader has just completely gone away and is continuing along with 4 minutes to go. It is genuinely one of those moments where you look at it and you say, okay, it is Brian Williams' race to lose.
To put in perspective, he is the only driver out of the 12 competitors that has broken into the 50-second bracket. Everyone else has not even come close to the lap times he has ran. In fact, the fastest one out of those drivers outside of our race leader is William McLaughlin, who set a 51:53. So over quite a significant margin of his pace that he has lost compared to the rest of the field. So he is definitely putting the field out on a Sunday drive or Saturday afternoon drive for him here today.
Yeah, it's so impressive when you see a driver manage that in karting here to pull such a gap. It is amazing to see here, and it really sets a good tone. He's going to be feeling good tonight, and going into Sunday tomorrow, he's going to be very, very confident as he continues. So perspective here, he just set a 51 flat, and we're waiting on Wilbur and McLaughlin and Harleman to come through, and McLaughlin just came through with a 51.2. So 51 flat to a 51.2 that time around, still managing to open up the gap and find more time here as they go through and continue along. McLaughlin has gotten past Wilbur and Harleman here. 2 minutes, 45 seconds left to go. So your Supermasters leader is in P2 overall right now and is just looking to kind of have a good run here for the rest of this Sunday or Saturday night.
Absolutely. Really good run for him as we go a little bit further back. I believe this is still the battle with McLaughlin as Brian Williams is caught the tail end of the field here and is about to put a couple of more drivers a lap down. Wesley Bullock is his next victim. He will lap here momentarily as he tries to get around him quickly as possible and continues to extend his lead. And now William McLaughlin sets the fastest lap. He now breaks into the 50-second bracket and does so in a very good manner, but still 6.8 seconds back. No chance to catch up to your race leader of Brian Williams here in the final 2 minutes plus 2 laps.
Yeah, not a chance at all here as it goes through unless there is some sort of major error. But Brian Williams has been driving so consistent that would be, unheard of. It would be heartbreak. It'd be the heartbreak of the century, honestly, if that were to happen here. So just smooth, consistent driving, all we need at the moment there from Brian Williams, and I would be surprised to see anything less here as we go through. There is point by being given from one of the karts going a lap down here, and that is going to be McLaughlin going through and continuing along, and you can see there that is Bullock who has went a lap down, has let second, third, and fourth place through, and they continue to battle it along. 1:10 left to go. So I think we're 4 laps to go here because the race leader is actually going through Daytona right now, getting ready to lap Le Masters.
Here they come through. I think we might be getting the 2-to-go signal next time by. I think it might be safe to say because Brian Williams with now, 50 seconds left, and he has not crossed the line. So it's going to be 3 laps to go here. Once he crosses the start-finish line, he will then have 2 laps to go when they come back around. And Donald Ball moves up a spot. Chris Whitaker moving up a spot as well as they hunt their way through the rest of this track. And it's going to be McLaughlin still holding strong. He has a comfortable lead over the rest of the Supermaster field as they enter into turn number 2.
Yeah, great run here from McLaughlin going through Wilbur and Harleman. They're just holding behind. It looks like not trying to force the issue at the moment and really just trying to hold along. A little bit of dirt being thrown up there on the exit out towards the back stretch. Again, just putting the pressure on, keeping that pressure applied here. I think it's such a safe thing to see too, especially on the Saturday. They know that they have to be back here first thing tomorrow morning to run, and so I think there is a little bit of that equipment conservation coming through, along with a little bit of just self-preservation. Here is our 2 to go signal as that we come across the line. Our leader mixed in with some lap down karts and coming through across the line. You see the battle continuing to develop there between Wilbur, McLaughlin, and Harleman as they go through. But for Brian Williams, not a problem in the world.
Not a problem whatsoever here at all as they come around the circuit and get themselves ready to go back at it once again. And here they come through the final couple of corners here with 2 laps to go. And there you see the leaders in the Supermaster of McLaughlin just trying to negotiate the lap traffic and work his way through under pressure from Travis Wilbur, who's trying to get around him to at least get second overall and second in class as they come through. White flag in the air for your race leader of Brian Williams, as he will take the final lap around here, the K1 circuit at Indy. And as they do so, Brian Williams already working his way through, and there he goes.
Just a Saturday night drive for Brian Williams. I mean, absolutely amazing run. And I would say tomorrow, the one to watch, definitely, pending anything crazy happening. Brian Williams, I mean, this is just a massive boost of confidence going through. And I would say even for William McLaughlin to be second overall, that's a massive boost of confidence for him as well.
It will be win number 6 for Brian Williams and win number 4 for William McLaughlin in these 2 as they get themselves ready to go. Out of the final couple of corners, Brian Williams picks up another victory here at Whiteland and already celebrates the excitement here as he does so as McLaughlin. Still got to wait a little bit of time for him as he comes across the line 8 seconds back. He will capture the Supermasters race win.
Great run from Brian Williams and McLaughlin to pick up the Legend and the Supermasters wins respectively. Travis Wilbur and Tom Harleman 3rd and 4th in the Legends category, with Mark Kirk in the Supermasters there 5th overall, just crossed the line. Mike Bacher in the number 22 kart with Chris Whitaker in 7th, Donald Ball in 8th, Richard Lemasters 9th, Wesley Bullock in 10th, Clint Stillwell P11, and Danny Cutshaw. Unfortunately, we saw Danny Cutshaw's moment there into the barrier, the only kart who didn't finish this run here in the Supermasters Legends combined final.
And with that, there is only one race left to go. It's the KA Senior and Master Final, and it's here coming up next on Kart Chaser, and we're excited to have it as waiting for them to get themselves locked and loaded into their karts and ready to go racing here for the final 10 minutes plus 2 laps, and it's going to be an exciting one. On the pole position is going to be Raider Santos, followed by Austin Old, AJ Lund, and Abram Dean will be in row number 2. Row 3 will find Kevin Simonelik and Eric Estrada, followed by Jaden Burton and Dane Van Dyke in row 4. Rounding out the field is Mason Galen and Joshua Nelson, who will be on the pole for your KA Masters category as the only KA Masters. So he'll have a little fun out there to see what he can do.
Yeah, it's always fun being the only one in your class, especially if we're combining Masters and Senior Final, and you're the only Master out on the class. You kind of get to have just a little bit of fun and kind of compete and see how you run with the different groups here. We'll see how that plays out here as we work to get this one kart there of Danny Cutshaw out of the way.
Now, tough break right there as we get the Cutshaw machine off the racing circuit. And we will hopefully go racing here in the next minute or 2, or at least release the karts out onto the track in the next minute or 2. And with that, the karts are heading out onto the racetrack to get themselves ready for the final race of the afternoon, the final race of the day. Before we go and take a look at everyone here to get themselves ready to go racing forward tomorrow's action. It's going to be really exciting to see, and here they go, set themselves up. There's a final look at the starting lineup. Dane Van Dyke, of course, there in P8, Joshua Nelson, Macy Galen. Looks like we have a total of 9 karts out on the racetrack here today.
Here, it looks like everyone's outgoing. This should be a good run here again to see. Oh, somebody locking up a tire, or is that an engine?
Well, they're now getting ready to enter into the start zone here. And we'll get set to go racing. Can AJ Lund get the victory here? What about? And I think it's Austin Old I don't see out on the racetrack. As we get set. Green flag is out, and away we go. I think Austin's tail end Charlie of that group.
Everybody gets away clean through the first couple of corners here. I'm trying to tell who isn't out there because I can't tell either, but everyone getting away pretty well here on the start here. No big incidents into turn 1 to start off this final run, and everybody gets away through Daytona well into the hairpin for the first run. It seems like somebody might have been having a little bit of engine idling issue, but it seems like that's all sorted itself out as well. So no harm, no foul. Everyone is through, and we'll try to get an idea of who is not out there, but Austin Olds is very much out of position.
He's out on the track by the looks of it. He just crossed the line, so we'll wait for a second lap to see here, but it is Raider Santos who's holding strong here around the circuit and leads the charge down the back straightaway. He's got pressure from AJ Lund, your opening round winner of the season, as they approach Daytona out of the bus stop, heading towards the hairpin. Once again, good run coming for them as they head into the hairpin. Lund tried to send it in, but could not make it work, and as they do so, they are having to worry about Abram Dean, who's right there sitting in third and makes the charge through the S's out of the back half of the course onto the front straightaway to put another lap on the board. And it is AJ Lund who is currently sitting second, sets fastest lap of the race. And Austin Olds is in the race. He is now he's moved up 2 spots in 8th position.
Yeah, I think we do have everyone here on the track that needs to be. I believe that it's where we have KA Masters showing up here of Joshua Nelson. I think that is showing the grid slightly different as 11 karts, but there is indeed 10 that were expected to show up, 9K Senior 1K Master as we go through. So looking here at the battle as it goes here up in the front, Santos and Lund keeping things alive here by the 10th of a second as they cross the line, and Lund here will continue to try to put pressure, or Lund and Santos will put pressure on each other here as they flip positions through. This is going to be a great battle as we're already 7.5 minutes plus 2 laps left to go here.
Here they come through the corner and already trying to set the pace here between Lund and Santos. What will Austin Olds do? Because he's already moved up to P7 and setting a blistering pace already. He's 6.8 seconds. You're going to expect a really fun show here.
Great runs here through the infield at the moment. Lund and Santos just kind of going back and forth here, working back and forth, trying to figure out, you know, where the weak point is on the track, where to make the move work, where to make the pass stick. We've seen passes right here into turn 2 that have then been switched back up into turn 3. So you have to think about it when you go to make a pass there. You have to make it work. And we've seen people try to make a pass here that sent someone off into the barrier. We just saw that last round with the Supermasters Legend. So you have to think about that. Side by side in the bus stop. We saw that this morning. It didn't work.
Here they come up through the field here, and as they work their way through, AJ Lund and Santos are currently holding strong as it is, and as they do so, putting each other, trying to see if they can hold off. Austin Olds already up P6 here. Let's see if he picked up a couple of more spots as they work their way around the circuit, heading across the front straightaway. The gap between your top two and Abram Dean is 3.2 seconds. Austin Olds breaks the top 5.
Great job there to break into the top 5 from Austin Olds. Keep your eye on Austin Olds through the rest of this race, because I have a feeling that Austin is going to be able to really charge forward here in the Senior Masters final across the back half of this race. 5 minutes, 45 seconds left to go. Leaders are coming through Daytona now. Big slide there from Lund getting through the hairpin, but is able to hold on very well to the lead there by a couple of tenths at least, a few kart lengths, and is just keeping a nice controlling demand all the way through. Let's see as he goes across the line here. Gap sitting half a second now and is continuing to expand as he is driving the absolute wheels off of that thing going through. Dean and Van Dyke starting to battle it out now for P3. Will we see a switch for third place here?
Keep an eye here as here comes a big send to the inside by Santos to get around, and Santos is able to get that race lead away from AJ Lund briefly, and he's able to check out a little bit. Now, a couple of kart lanes separate Santos and Lund as they work their way through, and Abram Dean and a couple of others are working their way around the circuit as well. And Austin Olds out of the race.
That's unfortunate for Austin. Austin seemed like he was having such a good run there. So seeing Austin go out of the race here at this point is absolutely heartbreaking. But I will say I won't be surprised to watch and see Austin come back tomorrow here for the next round and have a great run tomorrow. Unfortunate to see that that is what's happened with Austin. Side by side here up near the front, we see Lund and Santos going side by side through the triple apex as they go into the bus stop. Looking over the shoulder there is Lund trying to get an idea where Santos is as they go through Daytona down into the hairpin. I mean, that was hard racing there for a moment coming around. And I have a feeling with 4 minutes to go, they're not done with each other.
I don't think so either, and I'm trying to see. I think this is actually Abram Dean and Dane Van Dyke we're watching right now, looking over the timing and scoring. I think that is the case. So Van Dyke trying to move up the running order, sitting P4, trying to get around the Tony Kart of Abram Dean, sitting comfortably in the third spot, but he's got a little bit of more pressure from Dane Van Dyke, who's been making those brave and heroic moves around this circuit.
Yes, so impressive to see there. Dean and Van Dyke battling it out just as hard as the leaders would be for the lead here as they go along through Daytona. They go and continuing to keep this run alive. 3.5 minutes left to go. Coming through, the hairpin has a lot more elevation change than I expected out. It really comes up and through down the inside. Great move there from Van Dyke to get past Dean, and that is going to be the pass for P3 secured as they cross the line here, and that is Dane Van Dyke up into P3. Now just has to defend it for the next 3 minutes, and we'll see what happens.
Seeing what happens here amongst them as they work their way out of the corner and set themselves up for a big run. And so far, Van Dyke is going to break away from Abram Dean here and really stretch out those legs as he heads through the bus stop chicane and pull away further and further. Let's see if he can try and hunt down your second place driver of Raider Santos.
Looks like he's going to certainly give it
a
try here.
That was Dean who went off track right there.
Dean with that off there, that is going to really neutralize that battle through. So at this point, it's going to really just be the top two, Lund and Santos. I think Santos is going to try to have a run on Lund here if he can, but he's got 2 minutes plus 2 laps to try to make that 9/10 of a second close up. He's going to try. It's easier said than done sometimes.
It certainly is, and he's got a little bit of work to do here. Currently, the gap is just under a second, so he's got some room to work with and catch up, and he's got a decent pace. But the problem is, AJ Lund has just been so smooth and consistent, breaking in the 45 O's compared to what we see out of the rest of the field, who are just now, as Raider Santos has broken into the 45 ones, and AJ Lund a 45 flat.
crazy to see those times going through and being as competitive as they are here. That 45 flat is such a ridiculous time from AJ Lund going through, but it's a 45.09 from Dane Van Dyke that is also really showing up and impressing me as well. Great times coming through from that number 79 Kart as they go through around through the hairpin out of Daytona. A minute left to go plus 2 laps. I think we will get an extra lap after this one here, as it looks like our leader will cross the line with more than 45 seconds to go.
Yeah, we're going to look at 4 laps to go here for your race leader as they approach lap traffic. That seems to be the driver of Jaden Burton, by the looks of it, that they will put a lap down here. And the gaps continues to expand between Lund and Santos. Santos had a really good run, but unfortunately has lost over a second last time by. So I think it's now just set to cruise control for AJ Lund.
Yeah, if you're AJ Lund, just don't do anything to mess it up. Just go. That is the best thing you can do right now, is just don't have an error. Don't set foot wrong. And honestly, this is one of those moments where if you're a driver, you just drive. You don't try to dial anything back. You're not really trying to do anything, because the weird counterintuitive thing is if you try to dial it back, you're more likely to make a mistake. You just got to drive. And you'll see that in, regular racing a lot whenever, in professional high-end motorsports like NASCAR or Formula One, Indy Car, when they're told to drive to a lap time, you tend to see drivers make more mistakes because they're more focused on hitting the lap time than they are on the track. Right now, if you're AJ Lund, you're just driving. Don't think about anything, just drive.
Absolutely. Drive, hit your marks as they comes through the final couple of corners to get the popsicle sticks in the air. 2 laps to go for AJ Lund to pick up his second win of the season for him. Really great drive for him as he comes through the final couple of corners. Here he is in that number 43 machine leading the charge.
A great run from him in the 43 to finish things out here on our Saturday here around this Indy Karting Challenge here at Whiteland. Doing a great job going through the bus stop there. Hasn't set a foot wrong and is doing great to come through into the hairpin out of Daytona, going into the infield section. We'll come through, we'll see the white flag, and again, the gap's opened up to over 3 seconds now. Just great racing here from everyone.
Great fight for the race lead here as they head down into the corner, battling it out. White flag one more time for AJ Lund to pick up his second victory of the season, and already a great drive as he works his way through the triple apex.
And working his way through, not a problem to be found. We'll bring it around here. You can see taking a bit of safe margin there towards the dirt, not pushing it, looking over the shoulder, kind of saying, where is everyone? Feel like I'm out here racing by myself, but you're not. You've just had a great run through Daytona, through the hairpin, just the infield section to go for AJ Lund.
AJ Lund was able to hold off some hard chargers and fight his way through, but he comes out on top in the final race of the day. AJ Lund and Top Kart capture the flag here at Whiteland, and an exciting finish to hold off Santos. A great drive and exciting finish. Santos, Dane Van Dyke round out your podium. Abram Dean and Macy Galen should round out your top 5, as here they come across the line. And it will be Dean, then Galen, Simonelik, Estrada, then Joshua Nelson, your winner in KA Masters, and then Jaden Burton rounding out your field. Austin Olds, unfortunately, D and F. So an incredible day of action here at the K1 Circuit in Whiteland. 8:30 in the morning Eastern time, and myself and Justin Prince will bring you all the coverage here for tomorrow's action of the Indy Karting Challenge. For our entire production and camera crew out there at the Whiteland Raceway Park in Indy, we want to say, of course, thank you and good night to everyone. We'll see you next time on Kart Chaser.